Chapter 11-13. For 2 days, Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan didn't think of a suitable method to lure General Houghton out. Because there was nothing worth Houghton's attention at all, even if he paid attention, he didn't have to come out personally. This made Yang Ming feel very embarrassed. After all, Houghton was not an ordinary person, but the leader of an armed force. Even if he wanted to maintain his prestige, he would not simply walk on the street. Therefore, it was not a simple matter to lure Houghton out and wait for the opportunity to kill him. However, with Fang Tian's comfort, Yang Ming was not in a hurry. Every day, in addition to flirting with Wang Xiaoyan in the room, the two people regarded this mission as a leisure trip. When they had nothing to do, they would walk around and take photos as souvenirs. They had a lot of fun. The owner of the hotel also regarded this pair of young people as tourists who came to play. Of course, he did not think that they came here from Asia, but thought that they were relatives or children of a nearby mine owner. On the afternoon of the third day, Li Chang took a group of people and sneaked into Country X in Africa. Yang Ming had already told Li Chang the latitude and longitude of the location through the GPS, so Li Chang could easily find this place with the GPS device. Yang Ming had to sigh at the power of modern technology. If it were in the past, it would be difficult for the two groups to meet in a strange country, but now it was extremely simple. Li Chang and the others acted at night. They did not enter the town, but stopped 2 kilometers away from the town and stationed there. After all, Li Chang and the others had too many people. If they rushed into the town, it would definitely attract the attention of others. At night, Yang Ming drove the jeep and went with Wang Xiaoyan to the place where Li Chang and others were stationed 2 kilometers away from the town. The militarized management, the concentrated training of the assassins, and the essence of Chinese martial arts formed Li Chang's powerful team. The on-duty personnel patrolling outside the station found that Yang Ming's car was coming this way and immediately reported to Li Chang. The entire station entered an emergency state of facing the enemy. However, after Li Chang confirmed that the visitor was Yang Ming, the station lifted the alarm. Li Chang, Lu Chao, Wang Peng, Golden Bull, and Lu Xinyang stood outside the station, waiting for the arrival of Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. Brother Yang, sister-in-law. Li Chang and others waited for Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan to park the car. They quickly trotted over and shouted loudly. Even Golden Bull, who had been following Wang Xiaoyan, changed his address at this moment. At this point, Black Widow and Li Chang's original group had completely merged together and formed a new group, the Black Butterfly Organization. Golden Bull also became a member of Li Chang's circle. Naturally, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He changed the name of Wang Xiaoyan. After all, at this moment, he also understood the relationship between Wang Xiaoyan and Yang Ming. Respect for Yang Ming was equivalent to respect for Wang Xiaoyan. Calling her sister-in-law seemed to make Wang Xiaoyan happier. Yang Ming looked at the neat and orderly station and nodded slightly. He praised, "Not bad. I haven't seen you for a few days. You have impressed me, especially Golden Bull. Your original men have also changed their previous habits and integrated into this group. This makes me very happy." Yang Ming praised Golden Bull, and Golden Bull's face naturally showed a look of joy. In fact, what Golden Bull was most afraid of was that Yang Ming's men were xenophobic and did not accept him and his brothers, but now it seemed that his worries were completely unnecessary. In this organization, there was only cooperation and unity. They trained together and suffered together. No one regarded them as outsiders. Therefore, this was also an important reason why Golden Bull and others were able to change their previous habits in such a short time. Everyone must understand that the domestic environment is not suitable for your survival, and it is not suitable for our development and growth. Yang Ming looked at Li Chang and others and said, "So, if our organization wants to establish a foothold in the world, North Africa is the most suitable place. There are no laws and no rules. Everything depends on strength and fists. Whoever is powerful is the boss. I think that here, you will be able to realize yourself and make a name for yourself." Indeed, Yang Ming was right. Because of the domestic environment, Li Chang and others were timid in their work and training. They did not dare to make a big fuss, but it was different here. They had long heard that North Africa was the world of armed forces and mercenary groups. Therefore, after listening to Yang Ming's words, their faces showed excitement and expectation. I won't say anything unnecessary. After all, the road ahead is up to you. I have already taught you the training methods. Whether you can gain a foothold here will depend on your strength. Yang Ming said very seriously. Brother Yang, you can rest assured. We are the strongest. We will definitely be able to stand firm here. Li Chang and others said. Well, I will help you solve the problem of the weapons as soon as possible. In these few days, you should first familiarize yourself with the nearby environment. Yang Ming instructed. Yes, Brother Yang. Li Chang and others said quickly. Yang Ming nodded. As he was about to leave, he suddenly caught a glimpse of Lu Xinyang on the side. He was stunned and then touched his head. How could I forget him? This is a ready-made military advisor. It would be a waste not to use him. Lu Xinyang, you go back with me. The others stay here. If there is anything, contact me with the satellite phone at any time. Yang Ming said. When Lu Xinyang heard Yang Ming calling him, he quickly trotted over and got into Yang Ming's car. Li Chang and others also returned to the station to discuss how to make a big impact in Country X. Brother Yang, are you looking for me? After getting into the car, Lu Xinyang asked carefully. Well, there is something I want to discuss with you. Yang Ming said as he drove. Brother Yang, if you have something to say, I will do my best to do it. Lu Xinyang said quickly. Things are like this. Yang Ming told Lu Xinyang about his purpose and the trouble he was now in. After all, Lu Xinyang and the others were people that Yang Ming trusted. Yang Ming didn't need to hide anything from them. They were about to become part of Yang Ming's ambition and realization of his ideals. Sister-in-law's idea is very good. Lure the snake out of its hole. After listening to Yang Ming's analysis, Lu Xinyang nodded with certainty. This is the only way at present. As you said, it is almost impossible to see General Houghton. No matter what reason you use, the other party will not easily let you meet General Houghton directly. Therefore, to carry out the assassination plan now, we can only let General Houghton come out by himself. There is no other way. I know this too. Do you have any good ideas? Asked Yang Ming. What good ideas can I have? Lu Xinyang shrugged and smiled bitterly. Sister-in-law's idea is already very good. I just plan it in detail on the basis of her idea. Yang Ming was stunned and immediately understood that Lu Xinyang was being modest. He said this to show that he already had a way, but he was afraid that Wang Xiaoyan would be embarrassed, so he said this deliberately. Well, if you have any good ideas, just say it. For these conspiracies, Yan and I can't do it. No one is better than you. Yang Ming said with a smile. It's not a good idea. Lu Xinyang also smiled. What kind of person can make General Houghton see him in person? Of course, it is someone who is similar to him. Our advantage is that in this place, there is an armed force that is comparable to General Houghton's power, the power of General Kevin. So, here, the only person who can make General Houghton see him in person is General Kevin. Continue. Yang Ming did not interrupt Lu Xinyang, but made a gesture to let him continue. For a long time, General Houghton and General Kevin have been getting along peacefully. Brother Yang, what do you think the leaders of the two armed forces, Houghton and Kevin, will do if there is a conflict between the two groups? Lu Xinyang paused and continued, obviously, it is unwise to start a war directly, because in an environment like North Africa, one more friend is always 10 times or 100 times better than one more enemy. Even if they are not friends, it is always better than being enemies, right? Yang Ming nodded. You are right. In this environment, it is very unwise for the two armed forces to start a war and become enemies. So, the most likely thing they will do is to negotiate. Right, it is to negotiate. Lu Xinyang said, as long as they negotiate, our opportunity will come. The two groups have just had a conflict, and their trust in each other has plummeted. Therefore, General Houghton is unlikely to go to General Kevin's station to negotiate, and General Kevin is unlikely to go to General Houghton's station to negotiate. If they want to negotiate, they can only choose a place that does not belong to each other's territory. It is very likely that they will choose a small town for two people to negotiate. This is the time for us to make a move. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan listened to Lu Xinyang's analysis and both showed a look of approval. This Lu Xinyang was really a rare talent. The two of them had thought about it for a long time, but there was no solution. Lu Xinyang pointed out the whole plan, and the feasibility was very high. As for the conflict between the two groups, it was simple. Yang Ming brought so many people over, so he would pretend to be General Houghton and General Kevin's people and create a conflict with the other group. He believed that it would not take long for the relationship between the two sides to become tense. Very good, Lu Xinyang. I will leave this matter to you. How to create a conflict? You go back tonight and discuss with Li Chang. Yang Ming said with some excitement. After all, the matter was solved, and Yang Ming was also very happy. He could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Otherwise, although he was not in a hurry these days, traveling with Wang Xiaoyan, in fact, Yang Ming was still very anxious in his heart. This was his first mission with Wang Xiaoyan. Yang Ming did not want to give up halfway. It was said that a good beginning was half the success. Although Yang Ming was not superstitious, he also wanted to maintain a good mood. After a few years of short peace, this border town finally began a 3-day armed conflict. In these 3 days, Li Chang, Lu Chao, Wang Peng, and Golden Bull were divided into 4 groups, pretending to be General Houghton, General Kevin, and Chief Executive Wixon's subordinates. When they saw military vehicles, they smashed, robbed, and plundered. For a time, the entire town was shrouded in a terrifying atmosphere. People hid in their homes and did not dare to go out. Wixon's administrative office was also destroyed, and his men were also injured to varying degrees. What does this Kevin want to do? Does he also want to intervene in the town's political power? Wixon complained angrily to General Houghton, the administrative office has been destroyed. I really don't know what he is thinking. The town is in a mess because of him. Okay, Wixon. General Houghton waved his hand and said, it stands to reason that this town should be managed by both of our armed forces, but General Kevin did not intervene in the town's affairs. In the past few years, we have also obtained a lot of military funds in the town. General Kevin is dissatisfied with this. It is normal for him to want a share of the pie. But, there should be a first come, first served rule, right? Besides, even if he wants a share of the pie, he doesn't need to do this. Can't he just say it directly? Wixon still said angrily. Indeed. If he says it, we can't not share a share of the pie. General Houghton nodded. Yes, I think he is asking for a beating. Teach him a lesson and let him know the immensity of heaven and earth. Wixon said angrily. Don't be impulsive. General Houghton waved his hand and said, if I fight with General Kevin, it is not good for anyone. Originally, there was no hostile state. It has been peaceful. Once we fight, there will be one more enemy. When 2 tigers fight, one must be injured. Maybe both sides will be injured. In this way, the happiest person is Karsi, that bastard. Ah! Wixon was shocked. After listening to General Houghton's analysis, he immediately broke into a cold sweat. I didn't consider it thoroughly. That's right. Once there is a conflict, won't Karsi reap the benefits from the fisherman's side? It's like this. Go and ask someone to send a letter to General Kevin. I want to negotiate with him. General Houghton commanded. At the same time, in General Kevin's encampment, General Kevin and his adjutant were also urgently discussing a solution to this armed conflict. It had been 3 days, and if this continued, things would only get worse and worse. This General Houghton is too much. General Kevin's adjutant scolded, we have been tolerant enough. The town's political power is completely given to them. We just buy some necessities in the town. We never take the initiative to make trouble. They are good. They took the initiative to attack us. Do they want to drive us out of here? We are not easy to provoke. We don't compete with them, but it doesn't mean that we will swallow our anger. Don't be noisy. General Kevin waved his hand and sighed. Let me think about it. It stands to reason that General Houghton is not the kind of person who likes to find trouble. If I fight with him, no one will have a good result. Then why did he do this? Said the adjutant anxiously. Perhaps there is someone around him who is encouraging him. General Kevin said, let's do this. Find someone to send a letter to General Houghton, saying that I want to talk to him. It can't go on like this. Yes. I will instruct someone to do it, said the adjutant quickly. Of course, what happened at the headquarters of these two armed forces did not escape Yang Ming's sight. While Li Chang was provoking them, Yang Ming was in the hotel room, quietly monitoring the movements of both sides with his special ability. When they made the decision to negotiate at the same time, Yang Ming suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, and a pleasant smile appeared on his face. The news from both sides was transmitted quickly. When General Houghton and General Kevin both received the message of the negotiation, they agreed. After replying to each other's messengers, they began to negotiate by phone. They were scheduled to negotiate in a tea house in the town in the morning the day after tomorrow. Both of them tacitly chose the location of this third party. After all, the other person would not feel at ease negotiating in anyone's territory. This way, it was beneficial to each other's safety. However, how could they have thought that in this way, their safety was even less? Your subordinate named Lu Xinyang is really amazing. Things developed exactly as he expected. After the matter is done, we have to reward him. Wang Xiaoyan said with some excitement. There is no need for a reward. Too many rewards are easy to make people proud. Yang Ming smiled and said, but it can be encouraged. That's also true. Wang Xiaoyan nodded. She didn't understand much about these people. For the negotiation location of the two armed forces, Yang Ming had already figured it out through his special ability. Now, he was waiting for the right time to make a move. The town seemed to become quiet again because the two forces had reached an agreement. In fact, it was because Yang Ming let Li Chang and the others stop. Of course, only Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan knew the reason for this. Because General Houghton and General Kevin had little contact with each other, they were not familiar with each other's people. Therefore, they all ignored this third-party force. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan began to appear in the streets again and became a traveling couple. Although the hotel owner advised them not to travel recently because it was not safe, Yang Ming naturally knew what was going on. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan went out today to examine the terrain of the tea house to see if there was a place that was conducive to making a move so that they could prepare in advance. This was the only opportunity. The opportunity was now or never. If they missed it, it would not be so easy to lure General Houghton out again. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan were very clear about this, so both of them were very focused on this matter. Chapter 11:14. In these 2 days, Yang Ming didn't stay idle. Instead, he contacted Fang Tian and told him his plan. I know a lot of arms dealers, but most of them are in Asia. Distant water can't put out a nearby fire. You need it urgently. I can't guarantee that you can get so many arms in a short time. Although Fang Tian had a wide network, there were some things that couldn't be rushed. Yang Ming didn't have much hope for this, but he felt some regret for missing this opportunity. Wang Xiaoyan wanted to pick up the phone several times to call home to ask for help, but she put it down. It was said that she would use her own strength to build the most powerful force in the world and not rely on her family. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan didn't know how to call back. I'm sorry, Yang Ming. I really can't ask for help from my family. Wang Xiaoyan sighed and said apologetically. It doesn't matter. Since you don't want to rely on your family, don't ask them again. Otherwise, they will use you against you in the future. Yang Ming said comfortingly, anyway, there will be opportunities in the future. Otherwise, Africa and Europe are very close. Wang Xiaoyan said with some unwillingness, if we transport weapons from home, it won't take a day, Europe. Yang Ming listened to Wang Xiaoyan's words and suddenly had an idea. How could she have forgotten about him? Yang Ming suddenly thought of a person, and his face suddenly showed an excited expression. What's wrong? Wang Xiaoyan saw Yang Ming's strange expression and asked, baffled. I thought of a friend in Europe. This time, we may still have hope. As Yang Ming said this, he picked up the satellite phone and dialed a number. Old Buffon had just finished his breakfast, and then he began to practice martial arts according to his master's words. Recently, old Buffon had clearly felt that his body had become stronger and younger. Last night, old Buffon tormented his wife in bed. Old Buffon felt that he was just like this 30 years ago. As a result, Mrs. Old Buffon, who couldn't take it, agreed to let old Buffon bring his lover back to the manor the next day. This was unprecedented. The jealous Mrs. Old Buffon finally compromised. Old Buffon was very happy in his heart. Money had no meaning for a person of his status. The family controlled the local underworld and legal underworld, and even held shares in many international enterprises. They did not need to work to be able to enjoy prosperity for generations. Therefore, old Buffon put extra effort into his interest and health. Originally, old Buffon was obsessed with Chinese martial arts. Later, he heard that people who practiced martial arts could live to 100 years old. Taiji Zhang Sanfeng lived to be 212 years old. Old Buffon was extremely envious. However, through many efforts and almost using all the power that the family could use, he could not find a martial arts master. However, he met Yang Ming by chance. Old Buffon naturally cherished this legendary martial arts master. He used all his tricks and finally succeeded in becoming Yang Ming's apprentice. Therefore, old Buffon was very happy. He felt that he had done the wisest thing in his life. It was just that his master was too busy and had no time to contact him. This made old Buffon a little disappointed. However, old Buffon had not mastered some of the martial arts moves that his master had taught him, so he was not in a hurry to learn new moves. However, even if it was just a beginner, old Buffon already had a feeling of invincibility. The last time he competed with one of his bodyguards, he beat a professional bodyguard in his prime to the ground within 10 moves. Old Buffon, your phone. Mrs. Old Buffon took a ringing phone to the garden and shouted at old Buffon. Old Buffon was just about to start practicing martial arts. He was shocked by his wife's shout. He immediately frowned and said unhappily, "Didn't I say? Don't disturb me when I'm practicing martial arts. It's easy to go berserk. You stupid woman. But, it's your private phone that's ringing." Old Buffon's wife explained, "Isn't your phone number only known by important people?" Old Buffon nodded when he heard that his private phone was ringing. He took the phone from his wife's hand impatiently. Indeed, the people who knew this number were some politicians and the heads of family businesses. They were looking for old Buffon for some important matters. However, looking at the caller ID on the phone, it was not very familiar, so old Buffon's attitude was not very good. Hello. I'm old Buffon." Old Buffon picked up the phone, but his tone was not very good. Disturbing his practice was simply a heinous thing in his opinion. "Old Buffon, I'm Yang Ming." Yang Ming heard that the familiar voice on the phone was a little stiff, so he asked, "Why? Is there anything wrong?" "Ah." Old Buffon was shocked, and his face suddenly showed an extremely excited expression. "Master. It's you, old man. That's great, you're finally calling me." Old Buffon quickly said in Chinese. "And, how is your practice going recently? Is there any difficulty? Although Yang Ming had a request for old Buffon, it wasn't the right thing to ask him for help right away, so he greeted him with a few words first. Very good, very good. I feel that I have made a breakthrough. After I succeed, I will wait for Master to give me further guidance. Old Buffon said quickly. I've been quite busy recently. When I'm done with the things here, I will go to your place as a guest and guide you along the way, said Yang Ming. That's great. Old Buffon shouted, Master, you must come. It depends on whether the things on my side are smooth or not. Yang Ming said, if it's smooth, then we will meet soon. If it's not smooth, I'm afraid we have to wait for a while. What's the matter? Do you need my help? Old Buffon said quickly. Yang Ming was waiting for this sentence. Since old Buffon said it himself, Yang Ming could continue to say, it's like this. I have something to do in Africa, but I urgently need a batch of weapons. However, I don't know anyone here. It's a bit difficult to get weapons. Do you have any connections? Weapons. Old Buffon breathed a sigh of relief after listening. He was afraid that Yang Ming's matter was too complicated and he couldn't solve it. Then, he had to wait anxiously for Yang Ming to finish the matter in the torment of time. Now, it was great. Yang Ming's request was very simple. Old Buffon said, this is too easy. My family has shares in many arms companies in Europe, and they are all major shareholders. Master, just tell me what weapons you want. Aircraft carriers, tanks, bombers, missiles, submarines, rocket launchers, but nuclear weapons are a bit difficult. That's not easy to get. I can get the rest for you at any time. Yang Ming was shocked after listening. He thought, damn, does this old Buffon want me to destroy Country X? Even aircraft carriers are here. Originally, Yang Ming thought that it was good to be able to get things like machine guns and armored vehicles, but he didn't expect old Buffon to be even more awesome. Forget about the aircraft carriers and submarines. As for the rest, see what you can get and get a batch as soon as possible. I am in Country X in North Africa. After you send someone here, just contact me through my satellite phone, said Yang Ming. Okay, no problem. Old Buffon promised. After hanging up the phone, old Buffon looked excited. He hummed a song and returned to the villa. When he saw his wife, he was very happy to give her a hug. Dear, you are so great. This phone call was delivered at the right time. Otherwise, I almost missed the opportunity to meet my master. When Mrs. Old Buffon saw that her husband was so happy, she was very happy. She also knew that old Buffon had a master as his master. Moreover, Mrs. Old Buffon also saw the recent changes in old Buffon, so she was very respectful to this master. When she heard that old Buffon was going to meet this master again, she was also very happy. Old Buffon didn't dare to delay. He began to call his family members and subordinates without stopping. An order was issued from old Buffon's villa, and the huge power of the entire Buffon family immediately showed. It didn't take long for a ship full of modern weapons to dock at the Buffon family's private island in the high seas. You are going personally. Will it be dangerous? Mrs. Old Buffon looked at her husband with some worry. What kind of place is Country X? I heard that there is war everywhere. Don't let anything happen to you. Don't worry. With my master here, there can't be any danger. Old Buffon's self-confidence was unprecedentedly strong. Mrs. Old Buffon knew that her words didn't have much power and couldn't change old Buffon's thoughts, so she could only carefully remind old Buffon to prioritize safety and not act recklessly. The person driving the ship was a local underworld leader, but he was also a distant relative of the old Buffon family. He was able to have what he had today entirely because of the support of the Buffon family. Otherwise, he was not even worth a fart. Therefore, he was also very respectful to old Buffon. Grandpa Buffon, please board the ship. Old Buffon nodded and boarded the ship. The underworld leader followed and ordered his men to prepare for departure. As a result, a small aircraft carrier full of modern weapons sailed to the coastline of Country X. Yang Ming hung up the phone and breathed a sigh of relief. He said to Wang Xiaoyan, "It's done. You can inform Li Chang and the others to prepare to receive the weapons." "No way. It's so easy to get it done." "Then why were you so troubled just now?" Wang Xiaoyan said, puzzled. "It's also because you mentioned Europe that I thought of him." Yang Ming shrugged. "Otherwise, I almost forgot." "Who the hell is this person? You can send weapons over with just a phone call?" Wang Xiaoyan was very inexplicable. "If this is the case, it means that your relationship with him is very unusual. How can you forget him?" "It's one of my apprentices." Speaking of which, he is a foreign old man. He is a very interesting person. I just taught him kung fu for a few days, but this old man is very grateful. He said that a teacher for a day is a father for life. Yang Ming smiled and said, "When you have the opportunity, you will know when you see him." Listening to you, this is indeed a very interesting person." Wang Xiaoyan listened to Yang Ming's words and smiled. "Right, he is also quite powerful over there. He can get so many firearms in such a short time. He is not a simple character. His name is Old Buffon. I heard that he is the patriarch of a very powerful family in Europe. I don't know much about the situation in Europe." Yang Ming said. "What? You said that he is Old Buffon?" Wang Xiaoyan suddenly widened her eyes after listening. "He is your apprentice?" "Yeah, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong? Why do you have this expression?" Yang Ming looked at Wang Xiaoyan, baffled. "That is one of the most influential families in Europe. The patriarch of the Buffon family is actually your apprentice. Yang Ming, you are so unexpected. Do you know that with the help of Old Buffon, our goal can be achieved faster?" Wang Xiaoyan said excitedly. She grew up in Europe, and her family was also in Europe, so Wang Xiaoyan could be said to be familiar with the Buffon family. I really have no choice, so I thought of him. However, I think it is better to rely on ourselves in the future. Although Old Buffon will not refuse my request, I don't want to always trouble him." Yang Ming said. "This is also true." Wang Xiaoyan nodded and said. Late that night, Yang Ming led Li Chang and others to the coast of Country X, waiting for the arrival of Old Buffon's people. Soon, they saw a ship slowly approaching from the sea. "They are here." Yang Ming said to Li Chang next to him, "Let the brothers be ready." "Okay." Li Chang nodded and quickly ordered his men to be ready to receive the ship. When the ship approached, Yang Ming saw that Old Buffon was actually standing at the bow of the ship. He was looking at them with a telescope excitedly. When he saw Yang Ming, he suddenly began to wave. Yang Ming felt a little strange and helpless. Old Buffon is actually here. This guy really can't wait. When he heard that Yang Ming was here, he came to find Yang Ming in a hurry. Soon, the boat reached the shore. Old Buffon didn't wait for the deck to be lowered. He jumped down from the bow excitedly and landed firmly on the beach. From his skills, he didn't look like an old man at all. His footsteps were vigorous and powerful. Yang Ming couldn't help but look at him in a new light. It seems that Old Buffon really did not slack off during this period of time. It is amazing to be able to achieve such results. Old Buffon rushed to Yang Ming quickly. Li Chang was shocked. He thought that this person was going to attack Yang Ming. He quickly rushed over and wanted to stop Old Buffon. Old Buffon was excited. When he saw someone blocking him, he was somewhat unhappy and called. Li Chang did not expect that this old man actually knew kung fu. He immediately raised his vigilance and grabbed Old Buffon to prevent him from moving forward. Old Buffon was not to be outdone. His body moved slightly and escaped Li Chang's grab. Although Li Chang did not take Old Buffon seriously, a person who could escape his grab was indeed amazing. He quickly put down his contempt and planned to fight with old Buffon. Li Chang, step back. He is my apprentice, old Buffon. Yang Ming was somewhat helpless. He did not take care of them, and these two people almost fought. When he heard Yang Ming's words, Li Chang quickly stepped back. He thought, this person turns out to be Brother Yang's apprentice. No wonder he knows some kung fu. But looking at his posture, he is not very powerful. If he gets the true teachings of Brother Yang, then I am definitely not his opponent. Old Buffon, why did you come here personally? Yang Ming looked at old Buffon with some blame. The situation here is unstable. It is very dangerous. I really miss you so much, master. Moreover, with you by my side, I am not afraid of anything. Old Buffon said quickly. Yang Ming shook his head helplessly. Well, since you are here, I will not drive you back. However, you have to stay quietly in a safe place while I am working. You can't act on your own. Don't worry. I am very obedient. Old Buffon heard that Yang Ming was willing to let him stay and said very happily. The people present were very puzzled. How did Yang Ming accept such an apprentice? However, they did not ask much. Under Li Chang's leadership, they were ready to board the ship to transport the firearms. Yang Ming looked at the things on the ship and was a little dumbfounded. Old Buffon, did you really bring the bomber? I'm thinking that this thing is more useful. If you can finish your business as soon as possible, you can visit my place earlier. Old Buffon scratched his head and showed a childlike smile. So, I brought everything that I could. Of course, there are some confidential things that I can't decide. This is already very good. Yang Ming looked at the weapons and equipment in front of him and shook his head. It was possible for Li Chang and the others to directly overthrow General Kar's regime. Li Chang and the others were obviously people who knew the goods. When they saw the firearms and equipment on the ship, they all showed surprised expressions. They had also dealt with the local armed forces in the past few days, and they also had some understanding of the weapons here. However, compared with these in front of them, the weapons here were simply primitive. Never mind the tanks, even the armored vehicles were the oldest kind. With these things, it was easy to flatten General Houghton's base. Yang Ming did not expect old Buffon to be able to get these. If so, even if he did not lure General Houghton out, he could forcibly blow up General Houghton's base. However, with these pieces of equipment, Yang Ming was also more determined in his thoughts. He was ready to do a big job here. Chapter 11:15. For the old man in front of her, Wang Xiaoyan's mood at the moment could only be described as shocked. Although old Buffon had never seen her, she had seen old Buffon's photo from some information. This person was the current patriarch of the Buffon family, one of the most powerful people in Europe. However, looking at his current performance, he was almost like a child. He didn't look like a dignified old man at all. Is this the master's wife? How experienced was old Buffon? Naturally, he could see that Wang Xiaoyan, who was next to Yang Ming, had an unusual relationship with Yang Ming, so he quickly greeted her enthusiastically and respectfully. Wang Xiaoyan never thought that she would become old Buffon's elder one day. As a matter of fact, he was a figure on the same level as her father. Although her family was also very powerful, old Buffon's family was not bad either. Therefore, the relationship between the two families could not be said to be very good. It could only be said to be neutral. However, if she could get the help of old Buffon's family, the matter between her and Yang Ming would obviously become much less resistance from her father. Now it seemed that if Yang Ming asked old Buffon to do anything, as long as it was within his ability, he would not refuse. Hello, Mr. Buffon. Wang Xiaoyan nodded politely. Why are you calling me Mr.? Just call me old Buffon. Old Buffon said indifferently. Old Buffon, don't underestimate Yen Yen. Her kung fu is not weaker than mine, so it's the same to ask her to give you some pointers when she is free. Since Yang Ming had decided to confirm the relationship with Wang Xiaoyan as a couple, he recommended these resources around him to her. The assassin group was not Yang Ming's ultimate goal. Therefore, in the future, the assassin group's affairs would still be handed over to Wang Xiaoyan. These relationships would also be handed over to Wang Xiaoyan. For Yang Ming's words, old Buffon naturally believed it. When he heard that Wang Xiaoyan was also a master, his eyes immediately showed a look of worship. Master's wife, please give me more pointers in the future. If I have time, I will give you pointers. Wang Xiaoyan said with a smile. She was very happy. She didn't expect that she would have such a day. Yang Ming's true identity and strength made Wang Xiaoyan increasingly suspicious. Although Yang Ming did not say anything, and his usual performance was very ordinary, Wang Xiaoyan felt that he was very unusual. Li Cheng and others were well trained. They unloaded the arms on the ship in an orderly manner, but when they saw the fighter jets and tanks, they were a bit embarrassed. These people were all from martial arts schools or assassins, but they had never been exposed to these things. Yang Ming suddenly regretted it. If I knew this, I would have brought Ho Jinhan over. He must know more about these things. Brother Yang, you see. Li Cheng looked at Yang Ming in a dilemma. To be honest, although they didn't know how to operate these things, they also wanted to get them. After all, these things would have a decisive improvement in their strength. Old Buffon, you gave me these things. My people don't know how to use them. Do you have people who know how to operate them? Give my people a simple training. Yang Ming turned to Old Buffon and asked. That's easy. Old Buffon greeted the underworld leader next to him. Lex, you go and find some people who know how to operate them to train my master's men. Yes. The underworld leader, who was called Lex, quickly responded and began to call for people. On this side, Li Cheng also found a few more clever underlings to learn how to operate a fighter jet and a tank from Lex and others. Of course, after these people learned it, they could pass it on to others. This time, Yang Ming and others set up camp 5 kilometers away from the town. These tanks, armored vehicles, and other behemoths were too eye-catching. It was easy to be discovered by others, so it was better to be careful. In order to make the relationship between Wang Xiaoyan and Old Buffon stronger, Yang Ming did not teach Old Buffon Kung Fu, but let Wang Xiaoyan guide him. With Wang Xiaoyan's Kung Fu, it was more than enough to guide Old Buffon. At this moment, Old Buffon finally knew how brilliant Wang Xiaoyan's Kung Fu was. In addition to admiring, he also learned from Wang Xiaoyan very seriously. Wang Xiaoyan also got Yang Ming's instructions. The Kung Fu that she passed on to Old Buffon was mainly basic Kung Fu to strengthen the body. She rarely dabbled in some killing techniques. Even if Old Buffon wanted to kill someone, he didn't need to do it himself. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan didn't need to teach him these things. Yang Ming was idle for 2 days. Li Cheng and others were busy learning operating techniques from Lex. In 2 days, they were familiar with the operating techniques of fighter jets, tanks, and armored vehicles. On this morning, the 2 teams slowly drove to the town. General Houghton and General Kevin did not bring too many people. After all, this was a negotiation, not a war. If they brought too many people, it would seem insincere. It would make the other party wary, which was not conducive to the progress of the negotiation. Yang Ming did not covet General Kevin. This time, the mission was only General Houghton. For General Kevin, Yang Ming decided to let him go first. No matter how big his appetite was, he couldn't swallow these 2 armed forces. When General Houghton and Commander Wixon boarded the car and went to the tea house, Li Cheng led the 2 powerful armed forces composed of air and land forces to Houghton Station. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan secretly lurked near the tea house with Golden Bowl and others, waiting for the opportunity to act. Old Buffon and Lex stayed at the base and did not participate in this operation. Patriarch Buffon, that young man is actually your master? Lex asked incredulously. After 2 days of busy work, Lex finally had a chance to be alone with old Buffon. Only then did he ask the question in his heart. "Don't talk nonsense." Old Buffon regained his usual majesty. "What, young man? Ambition is not dependent on age. Even if the master and master's wife don't dominate the underworld, they must be hidden masters. You have to be respectful. Do you understand?" "I understand." Lex was just asking casually. He didn't expect old Buffon to get angry, so he nodded quickly. "After you go back, call your men. I will give them training to ensure that their skills will improve greatly." Old Buffon had learned some fighting skills from Wang Xiaoyan, and he had no place to put them to use. "Yes, master." Lex nodded. Outside the tea house, 20 people in different uniforms were scattered around the tea house. These people were the guards of General Houghton and General Kevin. Each of them only brought 10 people out, so that they could show each other sincerity. In their view, the town was the territory of the two people, and there was no need to bring too many people. After General Houghton and General Kevin entered the tea house, Yang Ming whispered to Golden Bull next to him, "We can act now." "Do you want them alive?" asked Golden Bull. Yang Ming shook his head faintly. Golden Bull waved his hand and said to the people behind him, "Act. Leave no one alive." Whether it was the bodyguards of General Houghton or General Kevin, they were not formally trained. They were just better people selected from their subordinates. The two groups of people knew that today's negotiations were peaceful, so they weren't too nervous. Although the guards were guarding nearby, they looked relaxed as they chatted. "Hey, old San, do you think there will be any danger since we only have a few people here?" one of General Houghton's guards said to another guard beside him. "How is it possible? This area is either our general's or General Kevin's territory. Who dares to provoke us?" The guard called Old San said indifferently, "You see, the people on the street are walking around us." "That's right. Our armed forces are nearby. It seems that I am too suspicious." The previous guard listened to Old San's words and smiled easily. "Yeah, you." Old San was talking to the previous guard, but he stopped in the middle of the sentence. This was because the guard from before had already fallen straight to the ground. His neck was still gurgling with blood. It was obvious that he couldn't survive. "What's going on?" Old San just shouted half a sentence when he felt a chill behind his neck. He didn't know anything else. How could these people be the opponents of Golden Bull and others? Many people didn't have time to take out their guns, and Golden Bull and others swarmed up and slit their throats. Some of them reacted quickly. Even if they took out their guns, they died before they could use them. 20 people were quickly taken care of. There were no ordinary people nearby. Those people were hiding in their homes and did not dare to come out. So, the incident just now did not even cause a ripple. It passed by calmly. Yang Ming nodded with satisfaction. In Golden Bull's team, there were also several former Wang Xiaoyan's men. However, they had been fully integrated into this group. Everyone had learned to cooperate and had established a tacit understanding with each other. Therefore, they could kill 20 people in an instant without leaving a trace. Wang Xiaoyan was also very pleased with the changes in Golden Bull. It seemed that Yang Ming's training method was effective, allowing her original men to make a qualitative leap in such a short time. General Houghton and General Kevin entered a luxurious private room and sat at the table. "Long time no see, Kevin." General Houghton extended his hand in a friendly manner. The two were like friends who had not seen each other for many years. "Yeah, long time no see." General Kevin also shook hands with General Houghton in a friendly manner. "Speaking of which, we have been old neighbors for 4 or 5 years. "Yeah, we are all old neighbors. Because our political views and policies are different, we get along quite well." After General Houghton exchanged greetings, he entered the topic. "There is no war. It is relatively peaceful." "It is indeed like this." General Kevin took over the conversation and continued, "However, this is just in the past. I am afraid it is not like this recently, right? What do you mean by this? General Houghton said, shouldn't I be the one to ask this question? Let's not beat around the bush. I don't want the town's political power, but my people go to the town to purchase necessities. You also want to interfere with this. Aren't your hands too far? General Kevin was a little angry at General Houghton's acting dumb. General Houghton was stunned and then said angrily, what's the matter with you? General Kevin, if you are interested in the town's political power, you can say that we can negotiate a solution. You don't have to do it, right? General Kevin listened to General Houghton's words and suddenly became angry. He slammed the table and said, Houghton, what do you mean by this? Aren't you clear about my development policy? I have no interest in the town's political power. I set up armed forces here mainly to make money and provide mercenary services to some small countries nearby. I have no interest in the political power struggle. Since you are not interested, don't do those things. General Houghton was also angry. Just say it. What do you mean? Do you think I am easy to bully? From what you're saying, you're not the one who attacked my subordinates? Kevin's eyes widened. I attacked your men? Isn't it your men who attacked my men? General Houghton also widened his eyes. Is it possible that there is a third-party force here? Listening to the dispute between the two, Yang Ming suddenly felt a little funny. However, he also knew General Kevin's intentions. This person was not a person with political ambitions. Indeed, his actions were very consistent with his current state. In this way, whether this person was eliminated or not, there was no conflict with Yang Ming's plan. Well, you don't have to argue. You are right. There is indeed a third-party force. Yang Ming pushed open the door of the private room and went in with Wang Xiaoyan. Who are you? Guards? When Houghton saw Yang Ming come in, he subconsciously knew that things were not good. He quickly shouted to the guard at the door. Are you shouting for your men? They are already dead. Yang Ming said faintly, okay, Houghton, you can also die. Houghton touched his waist in horror. He wanted to get a gun, but before he could touch the pistol, there was a bloody hole in between his eyebrows. He fell to the ground with a grievance. Golden Bull was holding a gun in his hand, and the muzzle was still smoking. General Kevin also realized the danger of the person who came. He did not dare to be rash. He sat there vigilantly and looked at Yang Ming and others. Kevin, right? Asked Yang Ming in English. Yes. General Kevin nodded. May I ask who you are? Don't worry. I just came to take Houghton's life. It has nothing to do with you. Now you can go. Remember, don't interfere with the internal affairs of Country X, otherwise, the next one to die will be you. Yang Ming said calmly. You are, sent by General Kars? General Kevin was stunned, and then he understood something. It is not good for you to know too much. Yang Ming said noncommittally. Don't worry. Please tell General Kars that I have no interest in the regime of Country X. I just set up a mercenary group here to provide mercenaries to some of the surrounding small countries. General Kevin explained. I hope so. Yang Ming nodded and said, you can go. General Kevin did not expect Yang Ming to let him go so easily. He did not dare to delay. After quickly thanking him, he quickly left the private room. He was shocked by the strength of General Kars. He could actually send someone to take the life of General Houghton from so far away. General Kevin still knew a little about the contradiction between General Houghton and General Kars. He originally thought that with the power of General Houghton, he could fight with General Kars. But he did not expect General Houghton to be killed so quickly. This incident also made General Kevin more determined to not participate in the political power struggle of Country X. Only in this way could he protect himself. Otherwise, he would become a thorn in others' side. Out of the tea house, he saw a large number of armed forces that he was not familiar with. General Kevin was sure that these people did not belong to General Houghton's forces because the uniforms they wore were not the same as General Houghton's forces. The corpses on the ground also explained all this. His men and General Houghton's men all died there. When they came with people. When they left, they drove away by themselves. However, General Kevin was already very satisfied with this ending. Although he lost 10 of his own soldiers, he saved his own life. This was better than anything else. At the same time, at Houghton's armed station, the arrival of Li Chang and others had doomed the outcome of this war. This was originally an unfair war. This was one-sided. In front of the high-tech armed forces of Li Chang and others, Houghton's armed forces seemed so fragile. When several armored vehicles drove to the front of General Houghton's station, the people inside surrendered without much resistance. Most of these people were from poor backgrounds. They were local people who joined Houghton's armed forces in order to survive. Therefore, according to Yang Ming's instructions, as long as they surrendered, they would no longer attack and kill. The policy for these people was different from the previous guards brought by Houghton. The reason why Yang Ming killed all the guards brought by Houghton was that those people were Houghton's confidants. After leaving them behind, it would only raise a tiger. But these people were different. These people would not care whether their general was changed or not. They just wanted to eat and wear warm clothes. Only when they were full and wore warm clothes would they go to the battlefield. Especially when these people heard that General Houghton had been killed, there was no meaning in resisting. A person in charge who stayed at the station personally ordered his men to open the gate of the station and welcome Li Chang and others to enter. Because they also understood that resistance was impossible. That's impossible. Can you fight an armored car with your physical body? This was obviously unrealistic. Other people's equipment was 10 times or 100 times stronger than their own. They would only die if they went up. At this point, Li Chang and others easily occupied General Houghton's station without any effort. Li Chang quickly reported the good news to Yang Ming. Yang Ming also expected the situation that Li Chang and others encountered. In fact, here, the grassroots of these armed forces were basically a mob. Without any professional training, they were forced to become soldiers. In fact, their beliefs and loyalty had not been established, and they could be easily disintegrated. Well done. Put the person in charge of the station under house arrest first. The other soldiers will be reorganized and integrated into your team. I don't need to say more about this, right? Yang Ming instructed. Chapter 11:16. Li Chang seized the political power of Houghton's armed forces with lightning speed. Golden Bull also transported Houghton's body back to the base. In this way, those restless people would give up. Their former leader had completely become history. If they wanted to live and develop, they must absolutely obey the existing new leadership. The reason why Yang Ming wanted to establish his own armed forces in Country X was because he had his own ideas. Although General Kars knew the true identity of the diamond mine owner, the other armed forces did not know. It was inevitable that they would be greedy for the diamond mine and come to find trouble. Yang Ming could not go to General Kars every time there was a problem. In this way, he owed General Kars a big favor. If General Kars had any requests, Yang Ming would find it difficult to refuse. Therefore, Yang Ming considered establishing his own armed forces. In this way, he could effectively prevent the exclusion of other mine owners. As long as he had absolute strength, he could gain a foothold in this war-torn country. The middle-level leaders of the original Houghton's armed forces were put under house arrest to prevent those who were loyal to Houghton from causing a mutiny among the soldiers in the team. It did not take too long. After a month or two, the soldiers under General Houghton were disrupted and integrated into Li Chang and others. These middle-level leaders could no longer cause any trouble. No one would listen to their orders at all. There was also a reason why Yang Ming did not let Li Chang kill these middle-level leaders directly. The reason why these people could become middle-level leaders was definitely because they had outstanding abilities, so they were selected as leaders. If they were killed directly, it would be a pity. Therefore, Yang Ming put them under house arrest. When the soldiers did not listen to their orders, they would be evaluated for a period of time. After the evaluation, they could continue to be put in important positions. Yang Ming didn't say too much about these people's ability to judge people. The matters of the organization still depended on Li Chang and the others. After all, Yang Ming couldn't stay here to guide them for a long time, so they had to slowly figure it out by themselves. Fortunately, there was Lu Xinyang, the military advisor. There were some things that could be discussed with him. Li Chang and the others would not be too passive. Yang Ming went online through the satellite phone and emailed the photos of General Houghton's body to General Karst's mailbox. The mission was completed. Yang Ming had not yet asked Fong Tian what the reward was this time. After sending the email, Yang Ming called Fong Tian. "Old man Fong, the mission is complete." Yang Ming was in a very good mood. Although the beginning of the mission was not very smooth, it was completed very smoothly. "Oh. Not bad." When Fong Tian heard Yang Ming say that the mission was completed, he smiled happily. "It seems that you have finally found a solution and didn't need my help." "I only completed it with the help of a friend," Yang Ming said with some embarrassment. "No matter what, this is what you did. Your friends are also part of your own forces. That way, I can rest assured," said Fong Tian. "Right, what is the reward this time?" asked Yang Ming. "Probably 2 gold mines. General Karst has just taken office, and there are no resources in his hands. It is already good that he can get 2 idle gold mines." Fong Tian said, "The things he gave are not very reliable. They can't be exchanged for cash. 2 gold mines? That's fine. Anyway, I plan to let my people develop here. If there is a gold mine, I will accept it." Yang Ming thought about it and said. Anyway, gold was also one of the raw materials of his jewelry company, so if there were gold mines, naturally, he would not complain about having too many. That's good. You can go to Karst to accept it." Fong Tian said, "I don't think he will renege on his debt." "That's true." Yang Ming nodded and thought, after the previous sneak attack, General Karst is more afraid of me. It is absolutely impossible for him to do something like reneging on his debt. Sure enough, it didn't take long for General Karst to reply to an email. He expressed warm congratulations to Yang Ming for the success of his mission. He also said that after Yang Ming returned to the capital, Shojie City, Yang Ming would be invited to a grand banquet. Yang Ming didn't care about the banquet. Now, he only needed to deal with Huang Leilei's family. Yang Ming decided to go to the gold mine where Huang Leilei's family was located to check it out. General Kevin was also a well-informed person. When he learned that Houghton's base had been uprooted and its flag changed, he became more careful. The soldiers who went to the town to purchase daily necessities were required to wear casual clothes, and they were prohibited from driving military vehicles. It was because the spies sent by Kevin also saw the true strength brought by Yang Ming. Not to mention anything else, just a dozen armored vehicles could flatten his base. While sighing, General Kevin doubted the strength of General Karst. Is this group of people General Karst's forces? However, regardless of whether they are or not, General Kevin would no longer care about the affairs of Country X. It was better to make money steadily. After resting for 2 days in place, Li Chang fully integrated General Houghton's men into his own team for unified training. Most of these people were also poor. Because their families were too poor, or the years of war destroyed their family business, they went to General Houghton and joined his armed forces. Therefore, for them, as long as they could survive and have food to eat, it was the same no matter who they followed. Of course, this was just their previous idea. From now on, Li Chang would cultivate their sense of community and honor, making them loyal to the organization and Yang Ming. Because the number of General Houghton's men was too large, Li Chang and Golden Bull had to divide these people into several small teams, and their original men served as the leaders of the small teams. However, in this way, the original men had become small leaders, and they were very happy. In these 2 days, Wang Xiaoyan would give a few pointers to old Buffon when she was free. Old Buffon also learned seriously. When Li Chang's men saw that an old man was so serious, they trained even harder. On the morning of the 3rd day, Yang Ming planned to return to Shoujie City. Under Yang Ming's persuasion, old Buffon was persuaded to go back. In this environment, it was indeed not suitable for old Buffon to stay. In the beginning, old Buffon naturally did not want to leave, but in the end, under the threat of Yang Ming's statement that he wanted to sever the master-apprentice relationship, old Buffon obediently stepped on the boat home and left Country X. This time, Yang Ming went to Shoujie City with Wang Xiaoyan, Li Chang, and half of the base's power. Wang Peng, Lu Chao, Golden Bull, and Lu Xinyang stayed at the base. Because of the larger number of people, the speed of action was naturally slower. Moreover, Yang Ming was afraid of attracting the attention of other armed forces on the road, so he had to choose to travel at night. Now, Yang Ming did not want to have a large-scale conflict with the local armed forces, so everything was done in a low-key manner. The original half-day journey took Yang Ming and the others 2 nights to reach a mine near Shoujie City, the capital of Country X. This mine was the property of Huang Leilei's family. "This is the property of your little Singaporean wife?" Wang Xiaoyan looked at the mine not far away and asked Yang Ming with a smile. For Huang Leilei's matter, Yang Ming did not hide it from Wang Xiaoyan. The 2 people came together to Country X in Africa. Yang Ming still had to deal with Huang Leilei's family's mission. Even if he wanted to hide it from Wang Xiaoyan, he could not hide it. Moreover, the most important thing was that Wang Xiaoyan was not like Chen Mengyan, who was jealous of everything. It was just that recently, it seemed that Wang Xiaoyan had changed a little. She became more like a woman, and she began to be a little emotional about these things. To be precise, she is a lover, just like you. Yang Ming smiled and saw Wang Xiaoyan's emotions. He squeezed her little hand and said, "Humph." Wang Xiaoyan glared at Yang Ming and said nothing. A group of people headed to the gold mine factory. When they were about to reach the entrance of the gold mine factory, Yang Ming was stunned. Logically speaking, there should be no one here. Why are there people guarding the entrance of the mine? Who are you? Stop. The people guarding the entrance of the mine saw Yang Ming and the others coming over and immediately stopped them. "This is private property. You are not allowed to enter. Otherwise, you will be killed." Private territory? Yang Ming listened to the guard's words and suddenly frowned. "What private territory? Who is your boss? Why do you care who my boss is?" The guard's tone was very rude. "If you don't leave, I will call for help." Call for help? Yang Ming looked back at his big team not far away and smiled. "If you have the ability to call for help, then call for help. What's the matter? Who is making trouble here?" A young Master Jadeface came out of the mine. Saying that he was a young Master Jadeface was praising him. In fact, he was just a gigolo. However, what surprised Yang Ming was that this gigolo actually spoke Chinese. "Are you from the Huang family?" Yang Ming hesitated and asked. According to Huang Rongjin, the people of the Huang family here had been withdrawn to Singapore. There should be no one here. Huang family? The gigolo snorted and said, "This place is now surnamed Li, not surnamed Huang." Surnamed Li? Yang Ming suddenly said, "Isn't this the property of the Huang family? When did you come?" "Humph, whether you are from the Huang family or not, it depends on whether my brother married Huang Leilei as my sister-in-law. However, Huang Leilei, that woman, is so hesitant. I think this matter is going to be troublesome." The gigolo snorted and said, "Don't talk so much nonsense. What are you doing? What the hell do you want? If there is nothing, get out of here." Yang Ming listened to the words of this gigolo and suddenly remembered. This Li family was the Li family of Singapore that Huang Rongjin mentioned. It seemed that this gigolo was the younger brother of Li Tianjia. They probably took advantage of their relationship with General Kars to occupy this mine first. If Huang Lele married into the Li family, then it was fine. If she didn't marry into the Li family, then this mine would probably be taken over by the Li family. It turns out to be the Li family of Singapore. Yang Ming snorted and said, "Are you Li Tianjia's younger brother?" "How do you know?" The gigolo was stunned. "Who are you?" "I took over this mine on behalf of the Huang family. Now you can get out of here," Yang Ming said faintly. He didn't have a good impression of the Li family of Singapore, especially Li Tianjia. Now that he saw the arrogant and despotic appearance of Li Tianjia's younger brother, Yang Ming was even more upset. He waved his hand directly and signaled that he could leave. "Who the fuck are you? Representing the Huang family? Who the fuck can you represent?" Li Tianyu was anxious at the time. He pointed to Yang Ming and said, "If you don't get out of here, you will be in trouble. Huang Lele is my wife, so I have the final say here." Yang Ming didn't want to talk nonsense with Li Tianyu. He grabbed his collar directly. With a force, Li Tianyu's thin body flew out like a kite. Whoosh, he flew out and fell directly to the ground. Li Tianyu was thrown, and the guard at the door was immediately anxious. He blew the whistle on his body and began to call for people. The people in the mine heard the whistle at the door and immediately rushed out. No one is allowed to move. "If you move, I will kill him." It was time for Li Chang to appear. Since Yang Ming had made a move, he had no reason to stay there. Li Chang and his men each held an MP-7A1 submachine gun in their hands, which was a rare model in many countries' armies. The people who rushed out were immediately dumbfounded. How could they be the opponent of the armed forces? They operated the mine here, mainly relying on the relationship between the Li family and General Kars, so they were safe. The nearby armed forces also knew the relationship between the mine and General Kars, so they did not trouble them. In this way, Li Tianyu thought that Country X was his territory. He could do whatever he wanted. He didn't expect Yang Ming to bring armed forces here. How could Li Tianyu's men with iron rods be his opponent? Although Li Tianyu was more pretentious, he was not a fool. Knowing that there was a huge gap in strength between himself and the other party, the result of a head-on confrontation would be death, so Li Tianyu did not dare to be rash. He was scared and quickly gave in. "Brother, I will go. I will take my people away. This place belongs to you. Don't kill me. I am also executing the family's orders. This has nothing to do with me personally. Hurry up and get out." Looking at Li Tianyu's cowardly appearance, Yang Ming was disgusted and waved his hand impatiently. Yang Ming also thought about killing Li Tianyu directly, but after all, it involved Singapore. Before he figured out Huang Lele's intention, Yang Ming did not rush to make a move. But he did not expect that letting Li Tianyu go was equivalent to letting the tiger return to the mountain. Let this guy go to find backup. Li Tianyu did not dare to stay for a long time. He quickly took his men and fled the mine in a hurry. "Brother Yang, we?" Li Chang looked at Li Tianyu's back and asked. "Let them go." Yang Ming said, "Let these people stay for the time being." Li Chang nodded. Although he did not understand why Yang Ming did not let them kill Li Tianyu and others, he absolutely obeyed Yang Ming's orders. When Li Tianyu and others had evacuated, Li Chang took his men to the mine. Li Tianyu ran far away in one breath until he could not see the mine behind him. Then, he breathed a sigh of relief. He wondered. How could the Huang family have such a powerful armed force here? If the Huang family had such a powerful armed force before, there was no need to ask the Li family for help. Although he could not understand, Li Tianyu was not reconciled. So, he began to think of a way. Chapter 11:17. This. Li Tianyu listened to General Kars' words and was suddenly speechless. Indeed, this mine was contracted to the Li family at half of the price. However, the Li family wanted the Huang family to pay half of the rent. The Li family reaped the benefits. Not only did the eldest son, Li Tianjia, marry Huang Lele, but they also got half of the mine's management rights for free. It was simply perfect. What the Li family paid was nothing more than a familiar relationship with General Kars. But now the Huang family's half of the funds were not in place, so the Li family did not give General Kars money. At this time, General Kars asked, and Li Tianyu was a little guilty. General Kars, I will urge the family to pay as soon as possible. Li Tianyu said quickly. It doesn't matter if you pay the rent or not. I don't intend to rent this mine to you. General Kars had no good feelings for the youngest son of the Li family. He was stupid and had no brain. He always thought that he owed him. He would call him when there was a little trouble, and he never found a way to solve it himself. Moreover, Yang Ming's task was completed very well. General Kars was ready to give this gold mine to Yang Ming as a sign of goodwill. General Kars did not have many resources in his hands. He only had the 2 gold mines as a reward, but this was the reward promised before. Even if it was given to Yang Ming, he deserved it. Therefore, in order to establish a further friendly relationship with Yang Ming, General Kars decided to give something extra to Yang Ming. In this way, he could show his sincerity. After a meeting, only the Huang family's gold mine was currently idle. It could be given to Yang Ming as a gift. There was nothing else that could be used for the time being. The Li family's rent was not in place, so General Kars had more reasons to take back the gold mine. What? Li Tianyu was shocked and quickly said, General Kars, you can't do this. How can you not rent it to us? Our Li family is your loyal arm. From the beginning of your success. Don't say those useless things. I have reduced the mine's rent by half. This is already benevolent enough. General Kars said impatiently, but you have delayed the rent. Even if the relationship is good, there is no such thing as you. Well, there is no need to say it again. Your phone call reminded me. I will send someone to receive the gold mine. General Kars, I will call my family and let them prepare the rent. Li Tianyu said quickly. Wait until you are ready. General Kars hung up the phone impatiently. However, General Kars could teach Yang Ming a lesson for him. Li Tianyu was still very refreshed. He did not dare to delay and quickly call his elder brother, Li Tianyu Li. Li Tianjia was in a meeting in the company. Suddenly, the phone rang. When he saw that it was a number from Africa, he quickly made a gesture to wait and picked up the phone. Hello, hello. Because the call from Africa only showed the transit area code, but not the specific number, Li Tianjia didn't know whether the caller was General Kars or his brother, Li Tianyu. Big brother, it's me, Tianyu, Li Tianyu said anxiously. Tianyu, what's wrong? Why are you so flustered? Li Tianjia quickly asked. Brother, something happened. Li Tianyu said, just now, my brothers and I were in the mine, but suddenly an armed force rushed in from the outside. They said that they took over the mine on behalf of the Huang family. Huang family? Impossible. If the Huang family has that ability, they don't need to come to us. Li Tianjia said, baffled. That's right. Li Tianyu said, I also doubt the identity of these people, but their leader is also an Asian. He can speak Chinese, and he claims that Huang Lele is his wife. What nonsense. Li Tianjia frowned. I have never heard of such a powerful character in the Huang family. Didn't you mobilize our family's armed forces in Country X? They have the latest heavy machine guns in their hands. Our people can't be their opponents at all. Li Tianyu was not stupid. Their equipment is too advanced. They are professionals at first glance. No way. So powerful? Then it is even more impossible for it to be the Huang family. Is there a local armed force that knows about this and covets our gold mine? They want to take advantage of this fake reason to occupy our gold mine? Li Tianjia analyzed. I think there is also this possibility. What should we do now? Said Li Tianyu. Of course, we should contact General Kars. He is the arm of our Li family. Our business in Country X depends on him, said Li Tianjia. I have contacted him. Li Tianyu sighed. But General Kars said that our rent has not been paid yet. He has no intention of renting to us. He is going to take people to take back the mine. Brother, I am calling this time mainly to talk about this matter. What is the attitude of the Huang family? When will the money be paid? General Kars really said that? Li Tianjia frowned after listening. This was a big problem. There was no news from the Huang family. Could it be that this matter was ruined? Li Tianjia was really unwilling. The African gold mine was a big cake. Perhaps, the Li family could become one of the most prestigious families in Singapore. But now, it's true. Li Tianyu said, can I joke about such a big thing? Well, I will inquire again as soon as possible and raise funds. Li Tianjia did not dare to delay and said quickly. Okay, I will wait for your news here. Said Li Tianyu. After hanging up the phone, Li Tianjia did not dare to delay and directly announced the adjournment of the meeting. The middle-level leaders of the company were very surprised. Why did the general manager stop the meeting after receiving a call? But it was not good to ask more. Seeing that the general manager had left the conference room, the others stood up and returned to their respective work posts. After Li Tianjia came out of the conference room, he hurried to the chairman's office where his father was sitting. Now, although Li Tianjia had the final say in many matters in the company, the final decision was still made by Li Tianjia's father, Li Zicheng. Seeing Li Tianjia rushing over, Li Zicheng, who was reviewing the documents, suddenly frowned. How old are you? You are still so reckless. What can you achieve? Father, something big has happened. Li Tianjia did not bother to explain and said hurriedly. What big thing has happened? Li Zicheng glanced at his eldest son. What big thing can it be? What a day for you. Father, something big has really happened. Li Tianjia said in a panic, something has happened in Africa. Africa? What the hell is going on? Li Zicheng was nervous when he heard it. A group of unidentified people claiming to be from the Huang family took armed forces and occupied the gold mine. Said Li Tianjia. Huang family? Li Zicheng said, are you kidding me? How can the Huang family have such strength? Indeed, Tianyu and I also analyzed it this way. We suspect that other local armed forces know the inside story. They covet our gold mine and want to occupy our gold mine. Li Tianjia said, this armed force is very powerful. Our people are not their opponents at all. Oh. Did you go to General Kars? Li Zicheng asked quickly after hearing it. I did, but... Li Tianjia sighed. But General Kars said that our rent has not been paid yet. He is ready to take back the gold mine. Li Zicheng listened to Li Tianjia's words, and his face began to become gloomy. Indeed, the rent on his side had not been paid yet. It was normal for General Kars to have an opinion, but this money, Li Zicheng meant to let the Huang family pay, not himself, so he had not transferred the money. But now, it was obvious that it could no longer be delayed. General Kars was already a little impatient, so he had to hurry up. Okay, I got it. You go out first. I will contact the Huang family. Li Zicheng nodded and said to Li Tianjia. Yes, father. Li Tianjia exited his father's office and sighed. He already knew Huang Leilei's attitude. It was estimated that this matter was a bit uncertain. Unless the Huang family was very tough to force Huang Leilei to marry over, there was no hope. AI. After Li Tianjia went out, Li Zicheng sighed and began to think. The gold mine in Country X in Africa was very rich. If they seized the opportunity to mine it, not only would they not lose money, but they could also make a lot of money. If the Li family funded it alone, it was not impossible, but Li Zicheng was somewhat unwilling. As a result, the Li family's domestic business would definitely be affected. Most of the funds would flow into country X in Africa. If there were any mishaps, it would put the Li family in a position of eternal damnation. This kind of situation was not impossible. The Huang family was a living example of this. Although the Li family was confident in the strength of General Kars, anything could happen in that kind of war-torn country. General Kars was indeed glorious now, but who knew what would happen in the future? Therefore, Li Ziqing had to be cautious. After thinking for a long time, Li Ziqing finally decided to call the old man of the Huang family. Mr. Huang? I am Li Ziqing. Li Ziqing called the old man of the Huang family, Huang Xiaofei. Mr. Li, hello, hello. Huang Xiaofei said quickly, why are you calling? What's the matter? It's still the gold mine in country X. I don't know what you think. General Kars said that if you don't pay the rent, he will take it back. Ah. Huang Xiaofei was shocked. They are going to take it back? What should I do? When Li Ziqing heard Huang Xiaofei's words, he knew that the people in country X were definitely not from the Huang family. Otherwise, Huang Xiaofei would never have this reaction. Hurry up and raise funds. Li Ziqing said, and, how is Leilei's matter? I will hurry up here. You can rest assured. I will immediately persuade Leilei, but about the funds, what do you think? Huang Xiaofei said with some difficulty. I can't do anything about the funds. You also know that our Li family has a lot of industries. The funds are not so easy to raise, so you have to find your own way, said Li Ziqing. Can't you give us a little support? Huang Xiaofei was a little annoyed. He thought, what are you doing? Not only do you want my daughter to be your daughter-in-law, but you also want to share half of my gold mine. You don't want to take out a penny. How can you think of such a good thing? I'm afraid it won't work. Li Ziqing was now sure that Huang Xiaofei had a favor to ask of him, so he didn't give in. Well, then I will think of another way. Huang Xiaofei said helplessly. He really didn't want to give up the gold mine in country X in Africa. If he gave up, the Huang family would simply lose face. You should hurry up. Time waits for no one. If General Kars takes back the gold mine, then everything will be too late. In fact, Li Ziqing was also very anxious. He didn't want to lose such a good opportunity to make money. I understand. Huang Xiaofei sighed and hung up the phone. Although he was very angry with Li Ziqing's approach, Huang Xiaofei couldn't help it. People had to bow under the eaves. If he wanted to gain a foothold in country X, it was impossible without the power of the Li family. Thinking of this, Huang Xiaofei had no choice but to call his eldest son, Huang Rongtian, into the study. Father, are you looking for me? Huang Rongtian was about to go to the company, but he was informed by the old butler that the master was waiting for him in the study. Huang Rongtian hurriedly took off his coat and came to the study. There is a big matter to discuss with you, Huang Xiaofei said with a serious expression. What is it? Father. Huang Rongtian sat on the sofa opposite his father and asked respectfully. It's still about country X in Africa, the gold mine. Huang Xiaofei said, just now, the Li family's family master, Li Ziqing, called and informed me that if the funds are not in place, General Kars will take back the gold mine. Ah! Huang Rongtian immediately exclaimed after listening. Are they really going to take it back? Our previous contract is completely invalid? So this is the case. Huang Xiaofei smiled bitterly. Who let the interim government change over there? Our contract has become a piece of waste paper. But the group is now struggling to make ends meet. There is no spare money to pay the rent of the mine in country X. Moreover, we are still in arrears with the bank loan, said Huang Rongtian. Leilei still has a sum of money. Huang Xiaofei thought of the 40 billion patakas in Huang Leilei's hands, the money in Leilei's hands. Can she take it out? Huang Rongtian smiled bitterly after listening. Dad, don't make it difficult for little sister. Rongtian, what's the matter with you? Haven't you always been on my side? How did you become a traitor? Huang Xiaofei was stunned after listening to Huang Rongtian's words, and said with some anger. Father, I stood by your side before because of the family's standpoint, but now seeing little sister in a sullen mood, I can't bear it. Lei has lost a lot of weight. Huang Rongtian said, moreover, although the gold mine in country X in Africa seems to be very profitable, the risks are also very high. Just like before, we had signed a contract with the previous interim regime, but the interim regime changed, and our contract was invalid. In this way, the risk is too great. I think if we talk to Lei about using this money to develop the family business in the country, Lei will definitely agree, but if we still take it to country X, I am afraid. I know there are difficulties. If there were no difficulties, I would have already asked for the money in Lei's hands. Huang Xiaofei said angrily, have you thought about it? If we withdraw now, what will the people here think of our Huang family? They will say that we are not capable, and they will look down on us. In the future, where will our Huang family put our face in the upper class? But, we can't take this risk because of our face. Huang Rongtian was still more rational. Father, I have also considered a lot during this time. We don't have such great ability. We can't play in country X at all. So, regarding the gold mine, my opinion is to give up. Although it is not good to lose face, we can't lose our family fortune because of our face, right? What do you mean by lose our family fortune? We don't have the ability. Isn't there the Li family now? Huang Xiaofei said stubbornly, the Li family is very active in country X, and they are very familiar with General Kars. Moreover, they also have their own armed forces in the local area. With his participation, how can we not make money? The Li family is indeed familiar with General Kars. This is true. But who can guarantee that General Kars will always be in power? If one day he falls, don't we still have to face the same fate? Huang Rongtian persuaded. Is the Li family easy to provoke? They also have armed forces in the local area, right? Said Huang Xiaofei. It's true that they have armed forces, and I've confirmed that. But they're armed forces. Huang Rongtian said until here and shook his head. If their armed forces are in our local area, they must be the underworld boss. But in country X, it is really nothing. A force of less than 100 people, compared to the real big forces of the other party, was simply too lacking. If they really want to mess with you, the strength of 100 people is nothing. They will easily break through. As long as we make money, we can continue to expand our armed forces. For a while, General Kars is unlikely to step down. Taking advantage of this time, we will continue to strengthen ourselves. What is wrong with that? Huang Xiaofei insisted. Well, then let's discuss with Lei and see what she thinks. Huang Rongtian saw that he couldn't win against his father, so he could only helplessly push the decision to Huang Lei. Chapter 11:18. Well, you go and call Lei. Come to my study. Let's discuss it together. Huang Xiaofei instructed Huang Rongtian. Huang Rongtian shook his head and left the room. In the beginning, he agreed to invest in country X because of the rich profit reward. However, after the last incident, Huang Rongtian also hesitated. Especially after learning that Huang Lei still had 40 billion patakas in his hand, he planned to give up the investment in country X. With these 40 billion patakas, he could develop some local businesses very well. There was no need to continue to take risks in country X. Although the return was not as rich as the gold mine in country X, the risk was almost zero. Therefore, after figuring out the key to the matter, Huang Rongtian also changed his previous thoughts. He did not support his father to continue to develop the gold mine business in country X. But now it seemed that his father was a stubborn old man, and he took the problem of face very seriously. Young people and the older generation had different ideas. The older generation paid attention to pomp and face, but Huang Rongtian came back from studying in the United States. He did not care much about face and other things. In order to be afraid that he could not persuade his father alone, Huang Rongtian called his younger brother, Huang Rongjin, and asked him to rush home quickly. There were important things to discuss. "Brother, what's wrong?" "I am holding a collection auction with my friends. I plan to sell some of my collection to relieve the economic pressure at home," said Huang Rongjin. After listening to his brother's words, Huang Rongtian was a little moved. After all, his brother had always been not very interested in the family business. He was just addicted to collecting, but he did not expect that when the family was in trouble, he would stand up and sell his beloved collection. "Rongjin, don't sell your collection. Even if you sell it, you can't sell it for much money. You should hurry home to discuss the important matters." Huang Rongtian said, "My father is going to let Lele take out the money and continue to invest it in the gold mine of country X in Africa. I think it is better to do business in the local area with this money, but my father doesn't listen to me. That's why I called you. You should come back and persuade him." "Ah. How can Lele's money continue to invest in gold mines? Isn't this a joke?" Huang Rongjin was also a little angry. "You wait. I will go back now." "Yes, you should come back as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you take too long, I'm afraid father will get impatient and personally call Lele," Huang Rongtian instructed. "All right, I understand. I'll head back now." As soon as Huang Rongjin hung up the phone, he told his companions that he had something to do at home. Then, he hurriedly drove in the direction of his home. Fortunately, he had been in Singapore recently and did not travel far. Otherwise, he would not be able to make it back in time. Huang Lele was bored to death. The only thing she could do every day was to surf the internet, play games such as Bubble Bobble and Lian Lian. She didn't know when these days would end. In her heart, she hoped that Yang Ming could come as soon as possible and get the recognition of her family. Lele. Huang Rongtian came to Huang Lele's room and saw that his little sister was still playing games. He sighed helplessly. After this period of reflection, he also felt that Huang Lele was a bit pitiful. "Big brother." Huang Lele looked up and saw that it was Huang Rongtian. She called faintly and then began to play computer games again. "Lele, father just looked for me. He means that he wants you to take out the money and invest in the gold mine of country X." Huang Rongtian sat on a chair and said tentatively, "Impossible. I won't take out the money to invest in the gold mine." Huang Lele refused without raising her head. "Big brother, if you want to persuade me about this, then don't waste your energy." Huang Rongtian obviously felt that during this time, Huang Lele's relationship with him was obviously alienated. Although the two were not born from the same mother, they were brother and sister anyway. Lele was the only girl in the family. When Huang Lele was young, Huang Rongtian still doted on her. It was just that when he grew up, he was busy dealing with the company's affairs and neglected this little sister. Especially a while ago, he stood in the wrong camp, which caused the sibling relationship to be even worse. "Little sister, don't misunderstand. In fact, I don't agree with this matter in my heart." Huang Rongtian shook his head and said, "Little sister, in fact, after this period of reflection, I also feel that the idea of letting you marry Li Tianjia is a bit of a neglect of your original thoughts. Here, big brother apologizes to you." Huang Lele was stunned. She looked up with some surprise and looked at Huang Rongtian. "Big brother, is what you said true?" Looking at his little sister's suspicious eyes, Huang Rongtian sighed bitterly. It seemed that his image as a big brother in Lele's mind had been completely destroyed. "Of course, it's true. I just advised my father and told him that if the money is used in a legitimate business, I believe that Lele will not disagree. But to use it on the gold mine of country X, it's better to forget about it. After all, we have already suffered a loss for that kind of risky thing." If we were to suffer a second loss, we would be fools," said Huang Rongtian. "Big brother, you are right. If this money is really used in the family's legitimate local business, I will not hesitate to support it. However, if it is invested in the gold mine of country X in Africa, I am obviously against it." Huang Lele said firmly, "Moreover, I will not marry that Li Tianjia. I didn't consider Li Tianjia's matter thoroughly." Huang Rongtian said, "At first, I thought that marrying you into a rich family would be good for you, and your happiness would be guaranteed. But after thinking about it, you already have someone you like, so I can't break you up. Especially when I heard that your boyfriend is so powerful and has some achievements in gambling. If the family business is transferred to the gambling industry, it is not a bad choice." Hearing that her big brother approved of Yang Ming, Huang Lele's heart was very happy. She was not so angry about her big brother's indifference to her before. In fact, Huang Lele did not have so much hatred for Huang Rongtian. She was just a little annoyed. Now that her big brother had figured it out and also apologized, Huang Lele was no longer angry. As the two were talking, Huang Rongjin pushed the door and came in. "Big brother, Lele, what the hell is going on?" Second brother. Huang Lele and her second brother, Huang Rongjin, were still relatively close. When she saw her second brother come back, she was delighted. Huang Rongtian looked at the brother and sister with some jealousy. He thought, when I was young, Lele and I were also so close, right? After growing up, it seems that I really ignored her feelings. Thinking of this, Huang Rongtian decided that he really had to consider his little sister's feelings in the future and not let her do something she didn't like. Huang Rongjin nodded and quickly sat next to Huang Rongtian. Then, he looked at the two with questioning eyes. "This is the case. Father intends to use the money in Lele's hands to invest in country X's gold mine," Huang Rongtian explained. "Then, didn't you persuade father?" Huang Rongjin frowned and said, "If he loses again, wouldn't everything be over?" "That's true." Huang Rongtian sighed and said, "I tried to persuade him, but father didn't listen. He asked me to call Lele to go to the study. He wants to talk to Lele personally. Now that the time is almost up, and you are back, let's hurry up. Otherwise, if father is anxious, he will come to us personally. Then, let's go upstairs." Huang Rongjin nodded and said, "Lele, no matter what father says, you don't let go. Don't take out the money, okay?" Huang Lele responded. Even without Huang Rongjin's reminder, she would not easily take out the money. The three went upstairs together and came to the door of their father's study. After knocking on the door, they heard their father's voice. "Come in." When Huang Xiaofei saw Huang Rongtian, Huang Rongjin, and Huang Lele, the three siblings, come in together, he was a bit baffled. "Rongjin is back too?" I just came back. I heard that there was a big deal to discuss, so I came in," said Huang Rongjin. Huang Xiaofei nodded and said, "This time, there is indeed a big deal to discuss. It is related to the survival and glory of our Huang family. Dad, if it is about the investment in country X in Africa, you don't have to say it." "I don't agree." Huang Rongjin did not wait for his father to speak and took the lead to express his opposition. "It is useless for you to object. It is not asking you to pay. You just listen here," Huang Xiaofei said faintly. Huang Rongjin listened to his father's words and had to smile bitterly. Indeed, he had no money, and his words were not effective. He had always been an image of a prodigal young master. He only cared about spending money and not making money, so these big moves in the family were rarely asked for his opinion. "Lele, what do you think?" Huang Xiaofei looked at Huang Lele. "Didn't we talk about it? Everything will wait until Yang Ming comes here. Before that, I don't want to say anything." Huang Lele shook her head and said. "But, the situation is very critical now. The Li family called and said that if the rent is not in place, General Kars will take back the gold mine. Huang Xiaofei said, if this opportunity is missed, there will be no more in the future. Dad, is that gold mine really so important? Our Huang family has a lot of industries. There is no need to keep an eye on the gold mine, right? Huang Lele said with some puzzlement, Dad, let's give up. We have invested so much money. It is really a pity to give up now. Huang Xiaofei said, moreover, I, Huang Xiaofei, am also a reputable person in the upper class. If people know that I ran back after failing to invest in country X, what will others think of me? Are other people's views so important? Huang Lele frowned. Dad, we are businessmen, not politicians. We don't need to care about other people's views. If we make money, we will succeed. Who will care if you have failed? Oh, you don't need to teach me this. I know better than you. But I can't afford to lose this face. Huang Xiaofei waved his hand and said, well, Lele, as for your marriage to Li Tianjia, I will fight for it again, but the money in your hands must be invested in country X in Africa. Well, since this is the case, then I have to ask Yang Ming. After all, the money is earned by him. If he agrees, I have no opinion. Huang Lele had no choice but to push the decision to Yang Ming. Good. You go and ask Yang Ming. I will negotiate with the Li family again. Huang Xiaofei suddenly decided. Huang Rongtian and Huang Rongjin could only smile bitterly. Huang Lele ignored those. In her opinion, as long as Yang Ming came over, all the problems would be solved. Huang Lele didn't know why she had such confidence. After Huang Rongtian, Huang Rongjin, and Huang Lele went out, Huang Xiaofei dialed Li Ziqing's phone. Hello, Mr. Huang, how is it? Have you considered it? Said Li Ziqing. In terms of funds, there should be no problem, but Lele firmly refuses to marry Li Tianjia. I can't help it. Now, young people are emphasizing free love and not arranged marriages. Huang Xiaofei said with some difficulty. Li Ziqing frowned. Since there is no marriage, then why should our Li family participate? Didn't half of the management rights have been given to you? Huang Xiaofei also felt that the Li family was a bit too much. They had already given half of the management rights, but they still wanted a marriage. Management rights are management rights. Without a marriage, how can we ensure that our cooperation will proceed smoothly? Li Ziqing sneered and said, Africa is so chaotic. To put it bluntly, when I am here, it is fine. But when I am not here, after Tianjia takes power, he will directly kick your Huang family out. What will you do then? In these words, there was a great threat. Huang Xiaofei naturally heard it. He was angry, but he couldn't find anything to be angry about. Wasn't Li Ziqing reminding him, kindly? He was hinting that if there was no marriage, the cooperation could not last long. Maybe the Li family would not only take the money but also the gold mine. Instead, they would kick the Huang family out. They would operate independently. What would you do then? Huang Xiaofei was shocked and angry, but he had no way. After taking a deep breath, he said, well, I will persuade Lele again. You persuade her again. Do it as soon as possible. It is very urgent here. Li Ziqing said indifferently. In fact, his heart was also very anxious. He didn't want to miss such a good opportunity to make money. After all, he could get half a gold mine without investing a penny. All he needed to do was to invest in interpersonal relationships. Where could he find such a good thing? Huang Lele marrying Li Tianjia was completely an additional condition. Even if the Huang family insisted on not adding this condition, Li Ziqing would eventually agree. However, there was still a possibility now, so he had to give Huang Xiaofei some pressure. If it really didn't work, he would make another plan. Huang Xiaofei knew Huang Lele's temper. He had been lobbying for so many days, and there was still no result. If he continued to lobby, there would definitely be no result. Now, the Li family's attitude was so tough, which made Huang Xiaofei very embarrassed. He didn't know what to do. "Father, how is it?" Li Tianjia came to his father Li Zicheng's office and asked anxiously. The Huang family replied that there is no problem with the funds, but Lei doesn't agree to marry you. "What do you think?" asked Li Zicheng. "This." Li Tianjia's heart was a little unhappy. "How am I bad? Huang Lei actually doesn't like me?" However, for the sake of the family's interests, Huang Lei's matter was not a big deal. "If it really doesn't work, then forget it." "And I think so too. After all, the gold mine in Africa is a rare opportunity. It can't be missed, and it won't come again." Li Zicheng nodded. "We can get half a gold mine for free." "That is indeed the case. Dad, Lei's matter, if it really doesn't work, then forget it. I will fight for it myself." Li Tianjia nodded. "It's great that you can think like this. I was afraid that you would have some opinions." Li Zicheng said, "You call Tianyu now and let him talk to General Kars. Our funds will be in place as soon as possible." "Okay. I will make this call now, so as not to wait for a long time. General Kars will change again," Li Tianjia said, and quickly left his father's office to call Li Tianyu. Li Tianyu hid far away on the road of the gold mine, waiting for General Kars to arrive and expel Yang Ming. However, his elder brother did not reply, and Li Tianyu's heart was also in a mess. The funds were not in place. Even if Yang Ming was expelled, the gold mine could not be given to him, so he still had to wait for his elder brother's call. A ringtone sounded, and Li Tianyu was delighted. He quickly picked up the phone. Hello, Tianyu, I am your elder brother. Father has contacted the Huang family. The funds are not a problem," Li Tianjia said hurriedly. "Oh. The Huang family agreed to our conditions?" Li Tianyu was also delighted. After the gold mine was won, the matters here would be handed over to him so that he could stand firmly in the family business. "There are some changes in Lei's matter." "The Huang family did not agree, but they agreed to the funds," said Li Tianjia. Li Tianyu didn't care if Huang Lei would marry his elder brother. This matter had nothing to do with him. As long as the funds were in place, he could be the person in charge of the gold mine. "Oh, it is good that the funds are in place. Brother, I say, free love is still better. If you like Huang Lei, go after her," Li Tianyu said with some excitement. "Ha, you think so, too? I plan to do the same." Li Tianjia didn't know that Li Tianyu was being perfunctory, so he replied to him happily. "Yes, that's what I think." Li Tianyu said casually, "Elder brother, I will contact General Kars and tell him about this." "Okay, then I won't bother you. After you contact him, call me and tell me the result," Li Tianjia said quickly and hung up the phone. Chapter 11:19. Brother Yang, our people have explored the entire gold mine. There is no one else in it. Li Chang let all his men explore the entire mine and reported to Yang Ming. "Well, you did a good job." Yang Ming also guessed that with Li Tianyu's character, he would not leave people in the mine, but to be on the safe side, he still sent people to investigate. It was better to be safe than sorry. In case Li Tianyu had any bad intentions and left any hidden dangers in the mine. The mine has been fully taken over. What are we going to do now? Li Chang followed Yang Ming into the office of the mine, sat on the sofa opposite Yang Ming, and asked. "Li Chang, do you know why I asked you to come here?" Yang Ming put away his joking expression and said to Li Chang seriously. "Brother Yang, you want us to build a powerful armed force here and become the world's first assassin mercenary organization," said Li Chang firmly. "Well, that's the case, but not all of it." As Yang Ming spoke until here, he paused and continued, "You say it again. It doesn't matter. Tell me your true thoughts. Also, you want us to operate and protect these mines here. Li Chang looked around and asked tentatively. This is one of the reasons, but it is not the main purpose. Yang Ming nodded and said, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about anything. If you have any ideas, just say it. Then. Brother Yang, I will say it. Li Chang hesitated as if he had made a great decision. You say it. Yang Ming smiled. Anyway, just treat it as a private topic between us brothers. Just say whatever you want to say. Li Chang nodded and hesitated for a moment before he said, Brother Yang, in the past few days in Country X, we have also experienced and seen a lot of things. I also understand the system and politics of this country. It is not difficult to obtain the highest political power in this war-torn country. Brother Yang, do you want us to? Hearing Li Chang's words, Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh. This Li Chang wasn't as rough and honest as he looked. He still had a clever side to him. That's right. I called you here because I want you to integrate and annex all the armed forces here, but not to control the political power here. Yang Ming nodded. Control all the armed forces, but not the political power? Li Chang was stunned and asked. Yes, it is to control the armed forces, not to control the regime. Yang Ming nodded. I intend to continue to support General Kars. Brother Yang, do you mean that we control the military power of Country X, and let General Kars be in charge of the political power of Country X, but in fact, he is a puppet leader? You can understand it this way. You are not stupid, kid. Yang Ming smiled and said, internal affairs are too tiring. We don't have so much energy. But if we want to gain a foothold in this land and develop a stable career, we must have absolute power. It turns out to be like this. Li Chang nodded. This is a very good idea. In this way, we can establish absolute authority in this land. How long will it take to do it? Asked Yang Ming. 1 year, at most 1 year. Li Chang said with confidence. Well, I will give you 1 year. Don't let me down. Yang Ming patted Li Chang's shoulder and said. Do not worry, Brother Yang. I will definitely hand over a powerful force to you. Li Chang nodded and said. The two were talking, and suddenly there was a knock on the door outside the room. Li Chang frowned and thought, I am discussing important things with Brother Yang. These underlings really come to disturb me at this time? But he still asked, who is it? What's the matter? Report. Captain Li, there is a group of armed forces outside who claim to represent General Kars. They want to take back this gold mine. Said Li Chang's underling. General Kars, take back the gold mine? Yang Ming frowned after listening. Let's go. Let's go out and see. Li Chang also nodded and followed Yang Ming out. Li Tianyu was so angry that he wanted to curse. Just now, when he saw a group of soldiers coming in the direction of the gold mine, Li Tianyu quickly stepped forward and asked the leading soldier, Big brothers, are you sent by General Kars to help me take back the gold mine? Who are you? Asked the leading soldier coldly. I am Li Tianyu, from Singapore's Li family. I am a loyal partner of General Kars. Said Li Tianyu quickly. I haven't heard of it. The leading soldier shook his head. Don't hinder us. We still have to perform official duties. Didn't General Kars tell you? Let you help me take back the gold mine? Li Tianyu asked with some doubts. It's true that we are going to take back the gold mine, but to help you. General Kars did not say this. The leading soldier said impatiently, do you still have something to do? If not, get out of the way. Wait a minute. Maybe General Kars forgot. He didn't tell you, but this gold mine is indeed ours. After it was invaded, I found General Kars. I will call him and talk to him, said Li Tianyu quickly. Then hurry up. The leading soldier waved his hand and said. Although he didn't know if what this person said was true, this person kept mentioning General Kars. It seemed that he was very familiar with General Kars, so the soldier didn't dare to offend this person. Otherwise, how did this person know that he was going to take back the gold mine? Maybe it was really General Kars who had forgotten. General Kars was busy every day, so he really couldn't remember this. Li Tianyu quickly took out the phone and called General Kars. The person who answered the phone was still General Kars' secretary. Li Tianyu quickly said respectfully, "Hello, please help me find General Kars. I am Li Tianyu of the Li family in Singapore." "You wait a minute." The secretary had also confirmed that General Kars knew this person, so the secretary's attitude this time was better than the last time. "I will connect you." After a while, the voice of General Kars came from the phone. "Hello, who is this?" "Hello, General Kars. I am Li Tianyu of the Li family in Singapore," said Li Tianyu quickly. What else do you want?" General Kars snorted and asked. "It's like this. I saw the people you sent, but this soldier said that they were here to take over the gold mine, not to help me take back the gold mine. You see, did you forget to tell them?" Li Tianyu hurriedly asked. "They are here to take back the gold mine. There is no mistake." General Kars said coldly, "I have given enough face to your Li family, but you have been in this gold mine for so long, and you haven't given me a penny. Can I continue to rent this gold mine to you? I have now decided to take back the gold mine and use it for other purposes. General Kars, I have just contacted my family. The rent will be paid in 2 days." Li Tianyu was anxious and said quickly. "Humph. As soon as I take back the gold mine, you have money? You can get the money?" General Kars sneered. "I think you wanted to deliberately delay and not give it to me before, right?" "No, it's really not. Our family has just raised the money." Li Tianyu's head had a cold sweat, and he quickly denied it. However, General Kars couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. Anyone would think so. Previously, your rent was delayed. Now that you want to take back the gold mine, you immediately have money. You even said that you just raised it. Who can believe this? Is there such a coincidental thing? General Kars obviously did not believe Li Tianyu's words. "I think your Li family has no sincerity. Let's just forget about this." "Don't, General Kars. You can't do this," Li Tianyu said anxiously. "Do I still need to tell you what I am like?" General Kars snorted coldly. "The relationship with your Li family ends here. You should take care of yourself in the future." After that, General Kars hung up the phone. Li Tianyu looked sluggish and looked at the phone in his hand dejectedly. "It's over. Everything is over. What's the matter with you? What did General Kars say? Are you okay?" The leading soldier saw Li Tianyu in a daze and frowned. "You guys go." Li Tianyu shook his head helplessly, waved his hand, and said decadently. "Are you sick?" When the soldier saw Li Tianyu's appearance, he knew that he called General Kars. General Kars did not support him, so the soldier's attitude toward Li Tianyu was not good. Looking at the back of the soldiers, Li Tianyu was somewhat angry and somewhat helpless. He even complained about his father. Why did he always want the Huang family to take the money? Even if the Li family paid for this gold mine, it was still a profiteering business. Li Tianyu took out the phone and called his elder brother in Singapore. "Tianyu, how are things going on your side?" Li Tianjia looked at the phone number and guessed that it must be Li Tianyu calling. "It's over," Li Tianyu said in frustration. General Kars said that the gold mine must be taken back and used for other purposes. "What? How could this be? Didn't you tell him that our funds have been raised?" Li Tianjia was shocked and asked quickly. "I said it, but General Kars said that we have occupied the gold mine for so long. He has given enough face to our Li family, but the funds are not in place. When he wants to take back the gold mine, our funds are in place. Isn't this obviously trying to drag on and not give him money? When he is angry, he said that he has severed ties with our Li family. He asked us to take care of ourselves. Ah. Li Tianjia suddenly said anxiously, did General Kars really say that? For such a big thing, can I lie to you? Said Li Tianyu. Is it because you are speaking too impulsively? It is not nice to hear, and you made General Kars unhappy? Li Tianjia asked unwillingly. Am I speaking too impulsively? Li Tianyu was a little displeased and complained, what does it have to do with me? Isn't it all because of you? The money is not in place, and it is delayed again and again. Isn't it normal for General Kars to have ideas? Originally, even if the Huang family did not contribute, we would have contracted the gold mine ourselves. It is already very profitable. It is you who are too greedy, which led to the current situation. Well, Tianyu, don't complain. This is father's decision. What is the use of you saying that? I have to report this matter to father immediately to see if there is any remedy. Said Li Tianjia quickly. Father? If you didn't insist on marrying that Huang Lele and put forward such an additional condition, the Huang family would have already agreed and taken out the money, right? Li Tianyu said sourly. Li Tianjia suddenly blushed. What Li Tianyu said was not unreasonable. On the Huang family's side, the biggest dispute was Huang Lele's matter. Moreover, now the Huang family had agreed to take the money, but they did not agree to Huang Lele's marriage. This point was also fully proven. Okay, you quickly let father find a way to remedy it. Li Tianyu did not force Li Tianjia too much. After all, with this weakness in his hand, he was not in a hurry to use it for a while. In the future, on the road to seize power in the company, this matter might become his own trump card. Therefore, the gold mine was not contracted. It was a bad thing for the family, but it was also an opportunity for him. Thinking of this, Li Tianyu's mood was a lot better, and he was not as troubled as before. After Li Tianjia learned that General Kars was going to take back the gold mine, he did not dare to stay any longer. He rushed to his father's chairman's office without stopping. This time, he did not even knock on the door and hurriedly rushed in. What are you doing? Li Ziqing was flirting with his young secretary, and one hand was still under the secretary's skirt. The secretary was also leaning on Li Ziqing's body and panting. She was shocked by Li Tianjia's intrusion. Li Tianjia caught his father having an affair with the female secretary. His face was also embarrassed, but now the matter was urgent, so he could not care so much. He said anxiously, Father, there is something, what's the matter? Li Ziqing pulled his hand out from under the female secretary's skirt and said with some embarrassment, How many times have I told you? Can you not be so impatient? You are already an adult. You are already a general manager, yet you are still so reckless. Father, Africa sighed. Li Tianjia glanced at the female secretary, and the words stopped at the tip of his tongue. Li Ziqing waved to the female secretary and motioned her to go out. After she went out and closed the door, Li Ziqing said, What are you doing? Can you knock on the door first next time? Father, mother has been dead for so many years. I don't object to you looking for another one. You find a match. My brother and I don't object, but you are always messing around in the company. If others know about it, it is not good. Said Li Tianjia. You still want to teach me a lesson? Is there anything wrong with you? You came to me to say this? Li Ziqing glared at Li Tianjia and said angrily. Right, I almost forgot about the business. Li Tianjia touched the back of his head and said quickly, Father, something happened in Africa, didn't I just say it again? I already know everything. What else happened? Li Ziqing looked at his son's anxious look and said with some resentment, You are so old, but you are not calm at all. No, Father, it's different this time. Li Tianjia said quickly, Tianyu just called. General Kars said that he wants to take back the gold mine and will not rent the gold mine to us. Not rent? What happened? Didn't we already collect the rent? Why didn't he rent it? Li Ziqing asked curiously, Is there some misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? Li Tianjia smiled bitterly. What misunderstanding. General Kars rented the gold mine to us and only collected half of the rent. He has already given us a lot of face, but our rent is not in place. When he wants to take back the gold mine, our funds are immediately in place. What will he think? He thinks that we have been in arrears with the rent and don't want to pay. Tianyu told you this? Li Ziqing suddenly frowned. It's not Tianyu who said it. General Kars said to Tianyu, and General Kars said that his relationship with our family ends here. He wants us to take care of ourselves. Said Li Tianjia. What? Li Ziqing was immediately shocked after listening to Li Tianjia's words. You said that General Kars said that he wants to sever ties with our family? Tianyu said that General Kars did say so. Li Tianjia said with some helplessness, Father, I think you should call General Kars personally. Communicate with him and see if you can save it. I will contact General Kars. Li Ziqing nodded and did not bother to pursue the matter of Li Tianjia disturbing his flirting before. Li Ziqing quickly connected the phone to General Kars' office, and the secretary transferred it to General Kars' desk. General Kars' secretary was still very puzzled. Why did I receive several calls in a row today? They were all from the Li family in Singapore. However, since General Kars did not say no, the secretary still honestly transferred the phone call to him. Hello, I am Kars. General Kars still had some respect for Li Ziqing. After all, he had received Li Ziqing's favor when he started. Hello, General Kars. I am Li Ziqing. My son is not sensible and may have offended you. Please don't take it to heart. Li Ziqing heard the voice of General Kars, and the first thing was to apologize. Nothing. General Kars said faintly, your son is not wrong. But, I heard that you want to take back the gold mine? Li Ziqing said sincerely. It seemed that Li Tianjia was right. It was indeed General Kars who was angry because of the rent. Chapter 11:20. Li Ziqing, we are also old acquaintances. You also understand my temper. General Kars said, in this matter, I have given you enough face. I am worthy of you as an old friend. However, you really don't want my face. My funds are already tight. You still delay the rent. I have no choice. I can only take back the gold mine and use it for other purposes. General Kars, my funds are really tight. It is also a coincidence that our funds are also together today. You see if you can make an exception. Li Ziqing said humbly. I can't make an exception. We have already decided this matter in a meeting. General Kars said, this can't be changed. But looking at the face of an old friend for many years, let's forget about this matter. I told the child before that our relationship was broken. Those were just words of anger. If there is anything good in the future, I will inform you again. This, okay. Li Ziqing heard General Kars' tone was very firm. He knew that there was basically no hope for this matter, so Li Ziqing no longer insisted because it was useless to insist. General Kars said that they could continue to maintain a friendly relationship. If there was something good in the future, he would think of them. Such a result was acceptable. In front of General Kars, Li Ziqing did not dare to be too soft. Contact me again if there is anything. I am still very busy here. General Kars said perfunctorily and hung up the phone. Ai. Li Ziqing sighed. It seemed that there was no turning point in the matter. The gold mine could only be given up. If he knew that there would be such a result, it was better to collect the money and buy the gold mine. He did not have to wait for the Huang family. However, Li Ziqing still vented his biggest resentment on Huang Xiaofei. In his opinion, if it weren't for Huang Xiaofei's hesitation, this matter might have already been settled. All the consequences were caused by Huang Xiaofei. Li Ziqing picked up the phone and was ready to call Huang Xiaofei to scold him to relieve the hatred in his heart. However, when the phone was dialed, Li Zicheng quickly hung up the phone. An extremely evil idea rose in Li Zicheng's mind. He thought of a very bad idea. He had suffered a loss in country X, so he had to get it back from Huang Xiaofei. Li Zicheng chuckled, picked up the phone on the table, and dialed Huang Xiaofei's phone. "Mr. Huang, how is it? Have you thought it through?" Huang Xiaofei was thinking about how to make Huang Lele submit, but there was no good way after thinking about it. As he was worried, Li Zicheng's phone call came in. Huang Xiaofei picked up the phone nervously. When he heard Li Zicheng's voice, he quickly said, "Mr. Li, I haven't figured out a way yet. You also know that Lele's thoughts are more avant-garde. He doesn't listen to me. Oh, if it really doesn't work, then forget it." Li Zicheng didn't ask for Huang Lele to marry him now. He wanted to implement a more evil plan. "I have discussed it with Tianjia. He also said that it is better to pursue feelings by oneself. That's why he plans to pursue your Lila personally." "Ah. That would be for the best." Huang Xiaofei suddenly breathed a sigh of relief after listening. He thought that Li Zicheng was forcing him to abdicate, but he did not expect that Li Zicheng was here to compromise. "Hee, I think so, too. Everyone is happy." "Right, when will your money be in place?" "General Kars is in a hurry. You also know that this can't be delayed." Li Zicheng changed the topic and said with a smile. "I see." Huang Xiaofei began to have a headache again. He didn't know how to tell Lele. It was another problem. "When is the deadline over there?" "By tomorrow morning at the latest. If I don't transfer the money, then the gold mine will be taken back and will not be given to us. So you have to hurry up," said Li Zicheng. "Well, then I will implement this as soon as possible." Huang Xiaofei rubbed his temples and said, "You should do it as soon as possible." Li Zicheng saw that things were about to be done, and he was very happy. "Then let's do this first. After you have raised the money, call me to inform me." "Don't worry." Huang Xiaofei nodded and promised, "Before tomorrow, I will transfer the money to you." After hanging up the phone, Huang Xiaofei began to feel troubled. His own country X investment plan, he did not expect the three children to disagree. Even the eldest, Huang Rongtian, disagreed. They all unanimously advised him to invest the money in a legitimate business, but how could a legitimate business be more profitable than a gold mine? It was simply a world of difference. Huang Xiaofei wanted to call Huang Rongtian, but he gave up the idea. Huang Rongtian was not on his side this time. How could he let Huang Lele take out the money obediently? Right. Huang Xiaofei suddenly had a brainwave. Didn't Huang Lele say it before? If the money was used in a legitimate business, she would support it. Then, he would pretend to do a legitimate business and then cheat the money. In this way, wouldn't it be up to him to decide what to do? Thinking of this, Huang Xiaofei was excited. He quickly went out of the study and walked to Huang Lele's room. Huang Lele's restrictions had recently been lifted, and she could use a mobile phone. However, when she called Yang Ming, it was either unreachable or turned off. She couldn't contact Yang Ming. How could she know that Yang Ming was already in Africa at the moment? He was helping her family solve the problem in Africa. She originally wanted to ask Yang Ming's opinion and ask his opinion on the use of the money. But the phone couldn't be connected, so Huang Lele had to give up. However, in fact, Huang Lele also understood that since Yang Ming gave the money to her, it was acquiescing to let her freely use the money. How to use it was actually up to Huang Lele herself. In fact, Yang Ming also thought so. When he gave Huang Lele the money, he had already hinted. Yang Ming was busy every day. Huang Lele also knew that, so she couldn't contact Yang Ming, so she no longer continued to contact him crazily. She quietly played games online, waiting for Yang Ming to take the initiative to contact her. Dang dang dang. There was a knock on the door. Who is it? Please come in. Huang Leilei's mood was still good recently. At least, her father agreed that Yang Ming would come to the house. So, Huang Leilei was not as depressed as before. "Leilei, it's me." Huang Xiaofei smiled and pushed the door and walked in. "Dad? Why are you here?" Huang Leilei was a bit baffled. Generally, if her father had something, he would call the servant or the butler downstairs to find them and go to her father's study. Her father rarely went downstairs to their room in person. "Leilei, Dad just thought a lot." Previously, maybe Dad's thoughts were too stubborn. Huang Xiaofei sat in the chair opposite Huang Leilei and said, "N?" Huang Leilei was stunned. "Dad, what are you talking about?" "Dad always thinks that if you marry Li Tianjia, you will be happy, but now I think that this idea may be wrong." Huang Xiaofei sighed and said, "You won't blame Dad, right?" "Dad. I didn't." Huang Leilei heard her father say so and took the initiative to admit his mistake to her, so she couldn't say anything more. "It's good that you didn't." Huang Xiaofei smiled and continued, "Moreover, in Africa, I don't plan to do it. I have lost once, and I should learn from the experience, so I think it's better to forget about it." "Dad, it's great that you can think like this." Huang Leilei finally breathed a sigh of relief. In this way, she didn't have to call Yang Ming. But now there is something I want to ask you for." Huang Xiaofei sighed slightly and pretended to be troubled. "And this matter, I can only ask you." "Dad, if you have something to say, just say it. I am your daughter. Don't say anything about begging." Huang Leilei said with some embarrassment. "Then, I will say it." Huang Xiaofei paused and said, "This is the case. Didn't we invest all the funds in the gold mine in Africa a while ago? We also borrowed a lot of money from the bank." "Yeah, I know this." Huang Leilei nodded and said. "Now, on our side, the bank is urging me to repay, and the company's normal operating funds are insufficient, so you see if you can take out your money and use it as the turnover fund for the family business?" Huang Xiaofei said. "This way." Huang Leilei was a bit embarrassed. After all, her father's current request was normal. The family business was also very difficult, and there was a lack of funds. This was what Huang Leilei couldn't refuse. "Leilei, I originally wanted to stake everything and continue to get the gold mine in Africa, but now I think about it. After all, the family business is the foundation. It can't be lost, so I still think that we should do some legitimate business." Huang Xiaofei said earnestly. "Then, you promise not to mention Li Tianjia's matter? You won't limit my freedom? Can I go back to work?" Huang Leilei put forward her own conditions. "Of course, Dad won't limit you anymore, and you can go back to work at any time. As for Li Tianjia's matter, he said that he wants to pursue you with his own ability. Then, don't bother about him. Whether you give him a chance or not is up to you." Huang Xiaofei said. "Okay then." Huang Leilei saw that her father said that the money would be put into legitimate business, and she got her father's guarantee. Huang Leilei nodded and planned to take out the money. After all, the money was used for legitimate purposes, so Huang Leilei didn't think much about it. Even if Yang Ming knew, he would definitely agree. However, how could Huang Leilei think that her father could lie to her? Since she was a child, her father had always said what he wanted. Although he was somewhat stubborn and tough, he had never lied to anyone. Therefore, Huang Leilei didn't notice that this time was a little different, and she chose to directly believe in her father. "Okay, when will you transfer the money? The bank is very anxious." When Huang Xiaofei heard that Huang Leilei agreed, he was overjoyed. He was afraid that a long delay would cause trouble, so he quickly said, "Then do it now. Anyway, there is online banking. I can get it immediately." As Huang Leilei said this, she opened the professional version of online banking on the computer and entered her password. For a moment, Huang Xiaofei only felt that his heart stopped. This was the first time he lied in front of his children, and it was such a big thing. However, in order to be able to achieve glory in the future, Huang Xiaofei still gritted his teeth and lied. "Dad, what is your company's account number?" asked Huang Lele. "The company's account is..." Huang Xiaofei said this, hesitated, and then said, "How about this? You transfer it to my personal account first. It is more troublesome to transfer it to the company's account." "Oh, that's fine too." Huang Lele did not doubt it and nodded. "Tell me the account number." The reason why Huang Xiaofei did not transfer it to the company's account was that Huang Rongtian could also monitor the company's account. If he found that there was such a large amount of money, he would definitely ask Huang Xiaofei. At that time, he would definitely be exposed. Therefore, for the sake of safety and insurance, Huang Xiaofei still let Huang Lele transfer the money to his personal account, so that Huang Rongtian would not find it. "My account number is..." Huang Xiaofei told his account number to Huang Lele, and Huang Lele entered the account number on the computer in turn. After Huang Xiaofei confirmed that there was no mistake, he said, "Yes, you can transfer the money." So, Huang Lele pressed the button to transfer the money. After a while, the system prompted, "Transfer successful." "Okay, Dad, you can confirm it," said Huang Lele. Okay. Huang Xiaofei was now so excited that he couldn't control himself. He was afraid that he would be exposed if he stayed in Huang Lele's room for a long time. He quickly left Huang Lele's room and ran to the study. Huang Lele didn't feel anything. After the transfer, she continued to play computer games. It was just that she couldn't contact Yang Ming recently, which made her a little irritated. Huang Lele suddenly thought of Wang Mei. She didn't know how she was doing now. She hadn't contacted Wang Mei for a long time, especially during this time when she was isolated at home. Huang Lele almost forgot about this former good friend. She picked up the phone and dialed the new number in Songjiang that Wang Mei gave her. Soon, the call was connected. "Hello?" Wang Mei's surprised voice came from the phone. She wasn't very familiar with the number. It was the kind of number that was transferred from an international long-distance call. "Wang Mei, it's me, Lele." Huang Lele heard Wang Mei's voice and said happily, "Ah. It's you." Wang Mei suddenly screamed in surprise. "Lele, what happened to you? You didn't call me for so long. I thought you forgot me." "Something happened at home. I went back to Singapore. I just called you when I could." Huang Lele said apologetically. "How is it? Is the matter solved?" Wang Mei asked with some concern. "It's nothing. It's basically solved." Huang Lele said, "How are you over there? Are you okay?" I'm okay. Zhang Bin's original wife came to me." Wang Mei didn't hide this from Huang Lele and frankly confessed. "Ah." Huang Lele was shocked. When she heard Wang Mei say this, she also thought of herself. "Yang Ming also has a girlfriend, right? Why? Are you scared?" Wang Mei heard Huang Lele's scream and said with some amusement, "Yang Ming has a lot of girlfriends. What does that have to do with me?" Huang Lele denied with some panic, "I'm not going back to get involved." "Ha. In fact, Sister Zhao. And Zhang Bin's girlfriend is good to me." Wang Mei smiled and said, "She didn't reject me. She didn't say anything bad to me. It's fine as long as you're doing well." "I'm relieved." Huang Lele nodded. "Right, do you know how Yang Ming is doing recently?" "Yang Ming? Why? Didn't he contact you?" Wang Mei asked, baffled. "I contacted him before, but now the phone can't be reached. I don't know where he is." Huang Lele said. "Oh, yes, I remember. Zhang Bin said a few days ago that Yang Ming was going on a long trip to Africa to contact the jewelry company about the ore problem. He has been gone for a few days. There may be no phone call there." Wang Mei suddenly said. It turned out to be like this. Huang Lele was relieved after hearing it. As long as Yang Ming was fine, it was fine. Moreover, Yang Ming went to Africa. Was he going to solve her family's problem? Although she felt that Yang Ming was unlikely to know people in Africa, she was still very happy to hear Wang Mei say so. Are you worried about him? Wang Mei asked with a smile. I'm not. Huang Lele's face was red. Wang Mei did not force her, so she changed the topic. The two talked for more than half an hour before they reluctantly hung up the phone. However, Huang Lele gave Wang Mei her phone number in Singapore so that she could contact her at any time if something happened. Yang Ming and Li Cheng walked to the door of the mine together. Before they reached the door, they saw a pair of soldiers confronting their own people at the door of the mine. The weapons on the soldiers were much worse than the weapons on Yang Ming's people. The number of people was not as large as Yang Ming's side, so they did not dare to be presumptuous. They just stood at the door and waited for Yang Ming and others to come out. What's the matter? Yang Ming did not need to say much. Li Cheng had already asked first. Report. One of Li Cheng's men immediately trotted to Li Cheng. After standing straight, he gave a military salute. Captain Li, these people claim to be from General Kar's government. They are ordered to take over this mine. You didn't tell them that this mine belongs to the Huang family in Singapore. Have you signed a contract? Asked Li Cheng. No, before we get the order, we don't dare to speak casually, said the man. Yang Ming nodded secretly at the side. The discipline of these people was still very strict. They would not act on their own initiative. You tell them that now. Yang Ming instructed the man. Yes, Mr. Yang. The man obviously knew that Yang Ming was Li Cheng's boss, so he did not hesitate to execute Yang Ming's order and trotted in the direction of the door. Chapter 11:21. Our boss said. This is the gold mine of the Huang family in Singapore. The contract has been signed. The man quickly ran to the door and said to the soldiers at the door. Your contract was signed with the previous government. It is invalid. The soldier said after listening, now, you should evacuate the square immediately. Otherwise, you will be punished for disobeying the military order. Since he already knew the boss's opinion, the man didn't care. With a wave of his hand, the people behind him picked up their submachine guns and aimed at the soldiers at the door. We don't care what you stand for. In my eyes, my boss's order is a military order. These soldiers of General Kars, when they saw that they were not the opponents of others at all, they did not dare to fight head-on. They quickly made a gesture to wait, took out the phone, and called General Kars. General Kars did not expect that today's phone call would be so busy. However, when he heard the secretary say that it was his captain of the guards, he quickly picked it up. Hello? What's the matter? Said General Kars. Reporting to General Kars, the gold mine is occupied by a group of armed forces. According to their leader, they represent the Huang family in Singapore, said the captain of the guards. General Kars said, didn't you tell them that the contract with the Huang family is invalid? Said General Kars. I said it, but they didn't listen. Their military equipment is obviously better than ours. We can't forcibly incorporate them, said the captain of the guards. What's going on? General Kars frowned. A small gold mine was so troublesome. There were so many things happening in one day. First, it was the Li family. This time, it was the Huang family. What made General Kars feel very strange was that the Huang family had no power, right? How could they suddenly have such a powerful armed force? We don't know what's going on. But this group of armed forces is obviously much stronger than us. It should not be around here, because the armed forces nearby are stronger than us. The captain of the guards also said very strangely. So, you see if you can let the leader of the mine answer the phone. I will talk to him. General Kars was not stupid. He heard the chief guard say that the armed strength of the mine was obviously stronger than his own. Naturally, he could not fight head-on. Previously, he only took back the Huang family's gold mine because the Huang family did not have much strength. They did not have their own armed forces here. The other mine owners had their own armed forces, so if General Kars took back their mines, it was bound to trigger a war. However, now the Huang family's gold mine was actually occupied by a group of more powerful armed forces, so General Kars did not dare to act rashly. He had to find out the details of the other party first. "I'll give it a try," the captain of the guard said. So far, he had not seen the person in charge of the gold mine. All he had seen were small fries. The captain of the guards took the phone and walked towards the mine. However, when he saw the black muzzle of the other party's gun, he was a little scared. Helpless, he could only raise his hands. "What are you going to do?" Li Chang's subordinate asked. "Our general would like to speak with your leader," said the guard captain. "What general? Does he deserve to speak to our leader?" Li Chang's subordinate said disdainfully. Who were they afraid of? General Houghton was so badass, but wasn't he still killed and incorporated into his subordinates? The captain of the guards listened to the words of Li Chang's subordinate. He was angry but did not dare to speak. The other party's strength was indeed strong, which he could not compare to. Let him bring the phone. At this time, Yang Ming and Li Chang also stepped forward and gestured to Li Chang's subordinate. Li Chang's subordinate listened to the order and said to General Kars, captain of the guards, "I asked you to bring the phone over. Didn't you hear it?" General Kars, captain of the guards, resisted his anger and handed over the phone in his hand. Yang Ming took the phone handed over by his subordinate and picked it up. "Hello, who is this?" "I am General Kars." General Kars introduced himself, but he felt that the voice on the phone was familiar. He did not know where he had heard it. "Which side are you from? This gold mine is now an official mine. You have no right to occupy it privately." "Privately? I represent the Huang family of Singapore. This mine was originally ours," Yang Ming said faintly. "It used to be, but not now." General Kars said, "According to the regulations, you need to pay the rent again." "Really? Have other people's mines been taken back?" Yang Ming asked with a sneer. This. General Kars was suddenly speechless. "Yes, I haven't taken back other people's mines. Only the Huang family's mine has been taken back. You think the Huang family is easy to bully, and you don't have anyone, right?" Yang Ming said straightforwardly, "But that was in the past. Now, I have occupied this mine." General Kars listened to Yang Ming's words, and his nose was crooked. However, there was no way. According to the captain of the guards, his own equipment was not as good as the others. If they really fought, he might suffer a loss. "Do you mean that the war is over?" General Kars had not been threatened like this since he came to power, so he was a little angry. "War? Whatever." Yang Ming said faintly, "I am a person. If there are no benefits, I generally don't like to kill people. But this time, it is my own business. There is no reward. I can reluctantly kill you." "What do you mean?" General Kars was already angry. Now that he was threatened by Yang Ming, he was even angrier. "Nothing." Yang Ming smiled and said, "Although I helped you kill General Houghton, it doesn't mean that I am on the same side as you. If I am not happy, I can kill you at any time." You are Mr. Yang." General Kars was shocked. He finally knew who was talking to him on the phone. He suddenly had a cold sweat. No wonder I felt that this voice was familiar before. It turns out to be Yang Ming. This frightened General Kars. He did not expect that Yang Ming would have a relationship with the Huang family. He would accept this gold mine on behalf of the Huang family. General Kars was very glad that he did not do anything irrational. Otherwise, he might be like General Houghton now. Did you recognize my voice? Heh. Yang Ming smiled slightly. Huang Lele is my concubine. She said that she was bullied here. She asked me to vent her anger for her. I didn't expect that the one who bullied her was you. Although Yang Ming's words were plain and peaceful, General Kars took a deep breath. Although he didn't know who Huang Lele was, when he heard the surname Huang, he knew that she must be a member of the Huang family in Singapore. I didn't expect that someone in the Huang family is actually Mr. Yang's concubine. Isn't this too amazing? I thought that the Huang family is a soft egg that can be bullied at will. Now it seems that they are the least soft. He had seen Yang Ming's strength. Not to mention the new military equipment mentioned by the captain of the guards, even Yang Ming himself couldn't handle it. Thinking of this, General Kars quickly said, Mr. Yang, in fact, this is the case. This gold mine, I also intend to give it to you to promote the cooperative relationship between us. Since this gold mine is already yours, then it seems that I am superfluous. I will find another gift for you. Of course, the 2 gold mines as a reward will not be less than yours. It turns out that you wanted to give it to me long ago. But these are 2 different things. This gold mine is originally the Huang family's. I just came to accept it for them. Yang Ming listened to General Kars' words and felt a lot more comfortable in his heart. Seeing that Yang Ming relaxed and no longer complained, General Kars breathed a sigh of relief and said, Mr. Yang, you wait there. I will come over right away to celebrate for you. My captain of the guards has offended you before. Please don't be offended. Those who don't know are innocent. Yang Ming said faintly, if you come over, it's fine, but you have to be quick. I have to go to the Huang family in Singapore to meet Huang Lele's family. I will go now. General Kars said quickly, I will not delay your business. Please give the phone to my captain of the guards. Yang Ming nodded and handed the phone back to the captain of the guards. The captain of the guards took the phone and said, General Kars, what should I do now? You didn't offend Mr. Yang, right? Asked General Kars in a hurry. Mr. Yang? Who is it? The captain of the guards was stunned. It is the owner of the mine. You didn't be rude to him, right? General Kars explained. No. I am calling you right away. The captain of the guards didn't know why General Kars asked this, but he still replied truthfully. It's good that you didn't offend him. General Kars breathed a sigh of relief. If he offended him, it would not be good. You bring people back immediately. If you want to apologize to them, your attitude must be respectful and humble. You have to respect them more than me. Do you understand? Yes. Although the captain of the guards did not understand, he still obeyed General Kars' orders. The captain of the guards finished the phone call and said carefully to Yang Ming and the others, I have offended you just now. I am really sorry. I will immediately take people to evacuate from here. You can go. Yang Ming waved his hand and let the captain of the guards leave. This matter had nothing to do with him. He was just carrying out General Kars' orders. Yang Ming did not want to embarrass him. When the captain of the guards walked back, General Kars also put down his official duties without stopping. He asked for a car and rushed to the gold mine with his guards. He absolutely could not afford to offend people like Yang Ming. General Kars regretted his superfluous action. His good intentions turned into bad things. The gold mine belonged to Yang Ming. What else did he have to worry about? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but hate the Li family. This Li family didn't explain how much power the Huang family had, and they still blindly interfered in the middle. The Huang family had Yang Ming's help, so why would they need the Li family? On the way, he met his captain of the guards. General Kars did not have time to talk nonsense with him. He just gestured for him to go back, and then he rushed in the direction of the gold mine. Yang Ming did not expect General Kars to come so quickly. The phone call had not been hung up for a while, and General Kars' car arrived at the door. The underling reported that General Kars was asking for an audience. This use of words made Yang Ming feel very funny. General Kars was the highest person in charge of Country X, right? He actually used the word asking for an audience. However, since General Kars had this awareness, Yang Ming did not need to talk nonsense. It seemed that his idea should be realized soon. If General Kars wanted to sit in this position now, he could not do without his help. Of course, that was a matter for the future. Now, Yang Ming was not prepared to be too arrogant. After the underling reported, he went out with Wang Xiaoyan to greet General Kars. In front of Yang Ming, General Kars did not dare to put on any airs. He hurriedly got off the car and ran quickly to Yang Ming. Then, he took the initiative to extend his right hand and shook hands with Yang Ming. "Congratulations, Mr. Yang. The mission is successfully completed. I am very happy." "It's a piece of cake," said Yang Ming faintly. Although the process was a bit complicated, Yang Ming would never say these words to General Kars. The simpler and easier he acted, the more mysterious and powerful General Kars would feel that he was, and the more powerful he would be. General Kars would not underestimate him. For Mr. Yang, it is naturally a piece of cake, but for me, this Hal Barton is undoubtedly a big problem. General Kars was more in awe of Yang Ming in his heart. "Please come in. Don't stand here and talk." Yang Ming made an inviting gesture and led General Kars in. To be honest, this was the first time General Kars had come here. Although he wanted to take back this gold mine before, he had never been here. For him, this kind of place did not need to come in person. But now it was different. General Kars looked at the minerals in his territory for the first time. The two walked side by side to the reception room of the mine. Wang Xiaoyan followed Yang Ming. General Kars' guards were nervous to protect General Kars. Seeing this situation, General Kars waved his hand and signaled that he could not follow. With Yang Ming by his side, this guard was almost equivalent to a figurehead. If Yang Ming wanted to kill him, 10 guards could not stop him. If Yang Ming did not want to kill him, then there was no need for a guard. Yang Ming could deal with the danger casually. When they came to the reception room, General Kars looked at the situation inside. He did not take a seat, but he gave the main seat to Yang Ming. After Yang Ming sat down, he sat on the side. Yang Ming did not decline modestly. What he wanted was this absolute strong momentum. Although this time he was not prepared to have a showdown with General Kars, this kind of superior pressure still had to be applied to General Kars. These are the transfer books of the 2 gold mines and a diamond mine. General Kars couldn't figure out Yang Ming's temper, but he also knew that Yang Ming definitely did not like the nonsense, so he went straight to the subject after sitting down and put Yang Ming's reward on the table. Yang Ming also took the transfer book without hesitation. After checking it, he pushed it to Wang Xiaoyan on the side and let her keep it first. Yang Ming was not afraid that General Kars would play word games on the contract. "Also, this is the transfer book of this gold mine. I wanted to give it to you together, but since the gold mine is already yours, it doesn't make sense. I will help you make up a transfer book." General Kars handed another transfer book to Yang Ming. Yang Ming glanced at it. It was indeed the transfer book of the current gold mine. It seemed that General Kars was still a determined person. If he went to Singapore, he could raise his eyebrows in front of the Huang family. "I am already very satisfied with this." Yang Ming nodded and took the power of attorney. "It is good that you are satisfied." General Kars was afraid that Yang Ming was not satisfied and took the opportunity to find fault. But now it seemed that Yang Ming really did not want to embarrass him. General Kars also relaxed his nerves. "I think our cooperation will be long-term and pleasant. This is just the beginning. If you need anything, you can contact me at any time through Li Chang." Yang Ming said and introduced Li Chang to General Kars. This is Li Chang, my capable man. He has also made a great contribution to the assassination of Houghton. Hello, nice to meet you. General Kars quickly got up and shook hands with Li Chang. He also understood in his heart that everyone around Yang Ming could not be provoked. All of them were ruthless characters, and he could not neglect them. Hello, General Kars. After Li Chang shook hands with General Kars, he continued to stand behind Yang Ming in a well-behaved manner. I am going to leave Li Chang here. One is to take care of the gold mine for me. The other is to establish an assassin and mercenary organization here. What do you think? Asked Yang Ming. General Kars was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to set up a base here. Yang Ming's strength was so strong. General Kars was a little worried that Yang Ming would seize power. If Yang Ming wanted to seize power, it was simply a piece of cake. However, it was useless to worry about this kind of thing. If Yang Ming wanted to take him down, he couldn't stop it even if he wanted to. If Yang Ming didn't want to, then establishing a powerful assassin group here would be a great help to his career development. Therefore, there was a good side and a bad side. It all depended on Yang Ming's intentions. That's good. In this way, we can have in-depth cooperation. General Kars said quickly after he understood this. Hee, you can rest assured. I am not interested in the civil affairs here. I just want to make money. Yang Ming also saw General Kars' worries, so he gave him a dose of precaution. It was just that Yang Ming said that he was not interested in civil affairs, but he did not say that he was not interested in the armed forces. When he had military power, General Kars would only be a temporary president that he supported. I don't mean that. General Kars was seen through by Yang Ming, and he was a little embarrassed. In this place, except for the minerals that are valuable, Mr. Yang really doesn't care about the rest. Chapter 11:22. However, I asked General Kars to take care of the Huang family's business here. Yang Ming still had to return this gold mine to the Huang family and let them manage it themselves. Yang Ming's people couldn't always stay here. He could only give them some help when needed. They usually still had to rely on General Kars' help. No problem. This is easy to talk about. General Kars said quickly, you can rest assured in the future. If the Huang family has anything, you can look for me at any time. If I can't solve it, you can do it. With your words, it's fine. Yang Ming smiled. It seemed that the Huang family could run amok here in the future. He no longer had to be careful. It's a piece of cake. Even without me, Mr. Yang can still handle it. General Kars also laughed. Now it seemed that the relationship with Yang Ming was developing well. If possible, General Kars naturally wanted to maintain it. However, Yang Ming couldn't stay in Africa all the time. As long as General Kars said this, Yang Ming was relieved. Several people talked happily. In the evening, General Kars invited Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan, and Li Chang to a banquet in his presidential palace. Although this war-torn country lacked supplies, the banquet was still sumptuous. However, vegetables and fruits were relatively fewer, not as much as meat. Probably because these things were not easy to grow because of the war, they were all shipped from foreign countries. Mr. Yang, I hope that our friendship will last forever. In the future, we will cooperate happily. General Kars was glowing at the moment. He could be said to be the first president of country X who had a deep relationship with a powerful foreign aid. If he could continue to cooperate with Yang Ming, then he might be able to sit in the position of the president forever. Moreover, maybe he could remove the word temporary and become an official president. General Kars thought of this, and his eyes shone brightly. General Kars drank a lot of wine, but Yang Ming did not drink at all. In this war-torn country, Yang Ming had to keep his mind clear at all times. General Kars did not force him. After all, he also knew Yang Ming's identity. He probably guessed that Yang Ming would not drink to affect his reaction ability. However, Yang Ming did not restrict Li Chang and let him drink with General Kars. It was not very pleasant. Both of them drank very happily, especially General Kars, who was very happy. Early the next morning, Li Chang took people to receive the 2 gold and diamond mines. Yang Ming didn't need to worry about these things. Li Chang and the others could handle it. Under the urging of old Buffon, Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan had to embark on a journey to Europe with old Buffon. Although Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan did not have legal procedures and passports for this trip, with old Buffon, these were not problems at all. No one dared to check old Buffon's guests. Even when old Buffon's ship entered the port, the staff on the dock stopped the work in their hands and stood neatly in a row to welcome old Buffon's ship into the port. The general manager of the port had already received the notice. He stood at the front of the row of staff at the port early. With his big beer belly, he was lecturing his men. In a while, you all have to be smart. The ship of the respected Buffon family patriarch will enter our port. This is the glory of our port. If Mr. Buffon is satisfied, the chairman will also praise us and give you a raise. But if Mr. Buffon is not satisfied with your service, then you, including me, have to pack up and leave. Do you hear me? Yes. The staff at the port said in unison. They also knew some things about the Buffon family. Although the Buffon family was not their direct leader, the Buffon family was one of the major shareholders of this port. Even the chairman could only take office with the support of the Buffon family. Therefore, the weight of the Buffon family patriarch was naturally heavy. No one dared to neglect, so everyone stood on the edge of the port in high spirits, waiting for old Buffon's ship to enter the port. There is one more thing. I heard that Mr. Buffon has an important guest. You all have to perform better. Don't let Mr. Buffon's guest find fault. The general manager of the port instructed. As soon as the words were spoken, the sound of the ship entering the port came from not far away from the port. The port manager immediately stopped talking and stood at the front solemnly. Master's wife, this is my hometown. How is it? Is it beautiful? Old Buffon said to Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan, who were standing on the deck. Not bad. The air is very good. Yang Ming was telling the truth. The port here was indeed much better than country X's. The difference was like heaven and earth. Mr. Buffon, the port has sent us a signal. We can enter the port now. Do you want to go in now or enjoy the scenery at sea for a while? Lex saw that old Buffon was enjoying the scenery with Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. He didn't dare to make a decision, so he asked for instructions. Master's wife, what do you think? Old Buffon didn't know what Yang Ming meant, so he asked. Of course, we should enter the port. Although the scenery here is good, it won't make people forget to eat and sleep. Yang Ming smiled and said. Lex quickly trotted back to instruct the first mate and sailors on the ship to prepare to enter the port. Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan, and old Buffon left from the port's dedicated VIP channel. They didn't use the channel for other tourists. On the VIP channel, no one came forward to check Yang Ming's or Wang Xiaoyan's documents. It could be seen that old Buffon's influence in the local area. Yang Ming asked himself that he couldn't be as influential as old Buffon at Songjiang's port. At most, he would choose to sneak ashore in Songjiang. Old Buffon, on the other hand, was justified in bringing the stowaways ashore, and no one dared to check. Out of the port, they saw a luxury Bentley extended version of the Arnage limousine. This was a commemorative limousine that was limited to only 20 in the world. Although the price was only £270,000, it was enough to show old Buffon's power to own one. The car slowly started, passed through the downtown area, and then drove to the suburbs. Old Buffon was also a person who liked quiet, so he didn't set his residence in the city center. Anyway, all the matters such as shopping were done by his subordinates. Old Buffon didn't travel easily, so there was not much difference where he lived. However, the air in the suburbs was better, which was suitable for him to practice martial arts. After passing through a farm, the car drove onto a small road. At the small intersection, there was a sign clearly stating that this was a private territory, and it was strictly prohibited to enter without permission. Around the path, there were gardens and gardens. Through the window, there were workers and gardeners working hard. This was already Old Buffon's family private territory. Going forward, a small farm could be seen. It was probably used to grow some commonly used vegetables and fruits. This kind of rural life made Yang Ming very fascinated. If one day, I can have a private manor like Old Buffon, how great would it be? Of course, if I told Old Buffon would definitely fund to help Yang Ming build a manor anyway, but that was not Yang Ming's original intention. Yang Ming wanted to achieve all this through his own efforts. The current plan of Country X in Africa was naturally the first step. If everything went smoothly, then it wouldn't be difficult to fulfill his wish. On the periphery of the manor, many servants and staff could be seen. When Old Buffon's car passed by, they all put down the work in their hands and stood neatly, welcoming Old Buffon's car as it passed by. However, when they drove into the most central villa area of the manor, there were few servants and staff. This was also why Old Buffon liked to be quiet and did not want to be disturbed. In particular, Old Buffon still had to practice martial arts. He did not like to be watched by others, and he was even more afraid that these servants would steal his skills. Therefore, in the villa area, other than the old butler and a few necessary servants, no one was allowed to enter casually. "Master, this is my home. The villa in front is prepared for you and Master's wife. Moreover, I plan to make it your permanent residence after you leave. You can come to my place at any time," said Old Buffon. "Hee, that's not necessary. When we come, just be ready at any time." Yang Ming smiled and refused. "How can that be? You are my elders. I should respect you. Besides, there are a lot of vacant villas here. This one is not bad," Old Buffon said in a hurry. As long as it was far ahead in civilian technology, it could already establish a foothold in the world. "Master, it is good that you understand." Old Buffon was most afraid that Yang Ming would not agree. If Yang Ming insisted that he get some confidential information, Old Buffon would be in a difficult situation. Old Buffon also read a lot of martial arts novels. If the disciple did not obey the master's orders, it would be a heinous crime, a traitor to the sect, and a scum of the martial arts world that everyone despised. Therefore, if Yang Ming really wanted him to get some information, Old Buffon would either take the risk or lose his master, Yang Ming. Therefore, he was nervous. Fortunately, Yang Ming was reasonable and did not care about this at all. Old Buffon breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. However, Yang Ming was not as complicated as Old Buffon thought. "I can't force him, right?" If Yang Ming knew that Old Buffon had just thought a lot, he would probably only smile bitterly. After dinner, Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan, and the Old Buffon couple sat together in the villa's living room to watch TV. The rear projection in the living room had already been changed. Yang Ming was very interested in the clarity of this kind of thing. He planned to change it with Wang Xiaoyan when he went back. In the past, Yang Ming heard people say that the rear projection was very clear, but it was not popular in China, so Yang Ming did not care. Now that he saw it at Old Buffon's place, he felt that it was not bad. Asia's popular little queen, Miss Shuya, will be holding a 4-day concert tour in the city's Grand Theater recently. Shuya's figure suddenly appeared in the entertainment news on TV. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He did not expect that Shuya's career had actually developed to the European and American side. This made Yang Ming very surprised. "Old Buffon, is Shuya very famous here?" "Shuya? I think so, right?" Old Buffon did not expect that Yang Ming would suddenly be interested in a celebrity. Old Buffon was obsessed with martial arts. He had no interest in other things such as music, film, and sports, so he was naturally not familiar with the entertainment industry. Shuya is very famous. She only entered the European and American market at the beginning of this year. However, when she appeared, many young people were conquered by her unique and clear voice. Mrs. Buffon often watched some entertainment news. When she saw that old Buffon did not know, she explained, that little girl, Alice, is also a fan of Shuya. Ah, Alice is also a fan of Shuya? This is very rare. Isn't that little girl very arrogant? Old Buffon nodded suddenly. It seems that Shuya is really famous. Yang Ming suddenly heard the name Alice and felt that it was familiar. However, when he thought about it, isn't there a world-famous song called For Alice? It is probably because of this that it is familiar. Master, are you interested in this Shuya? Although old Buffon did not care about the entertainment industry, he also knew that some people like to play with celebrities, so he was not sure if Yang Ming was such a person. Hee, I like her very much. Yang Ming said bluntly, can you get tickets for the concert? Of course, this is not a problem. Old Buffon nodded quickly and secretly planned to contact the company tomorrow to see which company was the organizer of Shuya's concert. If possible, arrange a chance for Shuya and Master to meet alone. With Master's handsomeness, he would definitely be able to capture the beauty's heart. Yang Ming naturally did not know old Buffon's thoughts. Otherwise, he would definitely stop him from doing so. In this foreign country, especially with Wang Xiaoyan around, it was not very convenient to meet Shuya. Besides, foreign reporters were everywhere. Yang Ming was also afraid of bringing trouble to Shuya. Huang Xiaofei returned to his study and took a few deep breaths before he calmed down. His hands trembled as he turned on the computer in the study. Watching the progress bar of the system on the computer slowly rolling, Huang Xiaofeng felt that the computer started so slowly for the first time. Finally, he entered the system. After successfully connecting to the internet, Huang Xiaofeng quickly opened his online bank account. After seeing that his account had 40 billion patakas, Huang Xiaofeng was so excited that he wanted to scream. The money was finally in his hands. Although he deceived his daughter, he had to do it now. He wanted to continue to invest in the gold mine of Country X in Africa. Under the opposition of his children, Huang Xiaofei had to take the risk. After confirming that the funds had been transferred to his account, Huang Xiaofei dialed Li Jiqing's phone. Mr. Huang, how is it? Is the funds in place? Li Jiqing was also anxious. Huang Xiaofei should not go back on his words. Then, his plan would be ruined. It is in place. Huang Xiaofei said, what do I do now? Transfer the funds to you? Can you write me a receipt? Li Jiqing was stunned. He did not expect Huang Xiaofei to ask him to write a receipt. If this receipt was written, how could he embezzle his money? So Li Jiqing said, this fund is not transferred to me. It is directly transferred to General Kar's account. I will give you the account, and you can transfer the money directly. Well, that's good too. Then we'd better meet and do this together. Huang Xiaofei had to be cautious about such a large sum of money. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.